urban cultivation, starting my immortal path from key refining level 1. Hey! Look who's back for more adventures. We love having you here to continue this story that keeps us all awake. Important note, all of this is pure fiction, so don't try any techniques you hear here in real life, your neighbor might call the cops. This amazing novel and all its rights belong to the original author, we're just the ones giving it voice and drama. Are you enjoying the show? Prove it by subscribing to our YouTube channel and leaving that like that motivates us so much. And if you want VIP access to exclusive content, our Patreon is waiting with things you won't find anywhere else. Chapter 551 Junwu Iao's Method, Half-Step Foundation Building. Seeing this, everyone at the scene looked at each other in surprise, unable to help but gasp. No one had expected the battle between Zeman Huxiao and Junwu Iao to reach this point. So Junwu Iao is so powerful. It seems he was hiding his abilities before, so what? The Hunan divine art is mysterious and extremely difficult to practice. I didn't expect Zeman Huxiao to have mastered the 8th form. This match is over. It is said that the Hunan divine art is recorded in a secret chamber in Kunlun Mountain. It is a secret technique left by the predecessors of the 10 ancient clans. Only true Qi can activate it. However, Kunlun Mountain was later occupied by Su Wuji, who drove out the original ancient clans. Su Wuji modified it to make it suitable for ancient warriors, and its power remains unchanged. It is indeed over. Junwu Iao is doomed. Once the Hunan divine art is unleashed, who can compete? I am afraid that even a genius of the caliber of Wudang Wangyi Fozi Wuji will have to go all out to deal with it. Someone revealed the origin of the Hunan divine art, clearly fearing it. Did my great-grandfather modify it? Su Yang's gaze fell on Zeman Huxiao, and he couldn't help but nod. Good revisions. Zeman Huxiao's Hunan divine art should be able to compete with my cousin's Taishan divine art. Although the 8th move isn't perfect, I'm sure Junwu Iao won't be able to match it. With his current strength, he's bound to lose to Zeman Huxiao, unless he has other tricks up his sleeve. With this thought in mind, Su Yang shifted his gaze to Junwu Iao, full of anticipation for this unremarkable guy from Laojin Mountain. At this moment, Junwu Iao looked at Zeman Huxiao, who was charging up his ultimate move, and his expression finally became serious. Haha, this is Su Wuji's modified Hunan divine art. Quite interesting, Junwu Iao smiled, then said, but that's all. It still falls short of the real Hunan divine art. At this point, I can't help but reveal a little bit of my strength. Zeman Huxiao, now I'll show you what the real Hunan divine art is. No, it should be called Hunan Palm. With that, Junwu Iao smiled, and his aura suddenly underwent a dramatic shift. Originally, Junwu Iao used Zenki, and his strength had always been that of a mid-stage divine sect master, comparable to Zeman Huxiao. But now, the Zenki fluctuations in Junwu Iao's body had completely disappeared, replaced by spiritual energy. Yes, it was spiritual energy, and it was a vast amount of spiritual energy, comparable to the old poisonous creature, and even slightly stronger. A cultivator, what? Junwu Iao is actually a cultivator. This is impossible. True Qi and spiritual Qi cannot coexist. He was using true Qi just a second ago. How come it has turned into spiritual Qi now? Looking at the fluctuations of his spiritual energy, it's even stronger than that of Lin Yuan. He might have succeeded in building his foundation. Once he enters the stage of building his foundation, he will be a land martial god. How can we fight him? Who can be his opponent? Not only were the spectators in the audience dumbfounded, but even those on the high seats were deeply surprised. This Junwu Iao is hiding very deeply. Wang Chongyan couldn't help but said, but how did he manage to make the true energy and spiritual energy coexist? It's not that they coexist. He has always been a cultivator. There is no true energy in his body. It's just that he has a treasure that hides the aura. Zeman Fengyan stared at Junwu Iao with a sharp gaze, and then said, as for the previous true energy, it was stored in the wine gourd before. It does not belong to him. It can be released during a fight, and it will be gone once it is used up. This kid must have come prepared. He even fooled me. It seems that the 10 ancient clans have already taken action, Zeman Fengyan added. Although Shi Haohan was unhappy with Zeman Fengyan, they were all in the ancient martial arts world after all, and they had to be of the same blood. Upon hearing the news about the ancient martial arts, he frowned and asked, how do you know he's from the 10 ancient clans? The Hunan Palm, Zeman Fengyan said. Junwu Iao is currently using the Hunan Palm. This is the unique skill of the Duanmu clan. one of the 10 ancient clans, and it has never been passed on to outsiders. For thousands of years, the Duanmu clan has occupied Kunlun Mountain. However, when Su Wuji rose to power, he drove the Duanmu clan away with thunderous means. Therefore, the practice method of the Hunitun palm was left in a secret chamber on Kunlun Mountain. After observing it, Su Wuji felt that the Hunitun palm was very powerful, so he modified it, renamed it the Hunitun Divine Art, and passed it on to me. Zeman Fingayan continued, after I entered the cultivation world, I went to the secret chamber to learn the Hunitun palm, so I naturally recognized it. This Junwu Iao is no ordinary person. He has practiced the Hunitun palm to perfection. In terms of his understanding of the Hunitun palm alone, his understanding of the Hunitun palm is not inferior to mine, Zeman Fingayan said with a half-smile. I'm sure Su Yang had already seen Junwu Iao's strength, so he agreed to Zeman Huxiao's request. Zeman Huxiao, that fool, wanted to take advantage of a loose end, but unexpectedly, he picked a tough opponent. At this point, Zeman Fingayan remained unperturbed by Zeman Huxiao's foolish behavior, maintaining his smile. The 10 ancient clans, the Duanmu clan, Wang Zhonggayan said gravely, what do they mean? Are they already desperate to sabotage the ancient martial arts reform? No, we can't continue this. Junwu Iao must be disqualified, it's useless. He's Junwu Iao of Liaojin Mountain now. There's no reason to stop him. Zeman Fingayan shook his head, then added, besides, he hasn't even reached the foundation establishment stage, only halfway through. His spiritual energy is slightly stronger than that of the old poisonous creature. This year's 100 sex martial arts competition features powerful geniuses. Junwu Iao might not be able to win. If you win and become the leader of the Ancient Martial Arts Alliance, wouldn't the ancient martial arts world be in chaos? Wang Zhonggayan said sternly. Amitabha, at this moment, Abbot Yuantong clasped his hands together and said, then let him be the leader. Everything is destined. Have you forgotten what that great figure said over 100 years ago? The first place winner of this year's 100 sex martial arts competition is blessed by the will of heaven and earth, and bound by countless karmic consequences. No matter who he is, we must recognize him and serve him as our leader. As Abbot Yuantong spoke, the elite on the high throne fell silent, tacitly assenting to his words. On the ring, Zeman Huxiao had completed his power build-up. Too excited to notice Junwu Iao's change, he sneered and unleashed his strongest attack. Junwu Iao, unhurriedly, launched a palm strike, instantly unleashing a surge of spiritual energy. Bang! With a dull thud, Zeman Huxiao's Hunitun divine art was shattered. The next moment, Junwu Iao struck Zeman Huxiao in the chest with a palm strike. As expected, Zeman Huxiao flew backwards and fell to the ring, spitting out a large mouthful of blood, his face etched with shock and disbelief. I actually lost. Linky, you're a cultivator, you were hiding your strength? Zeman Huxiao finally noticed Junwu Iao's change, and sensing the powerful aura within him, his expression instantly darkened. It wasn't that he couldn't afford to lose, it was just too painful. Why had he proposed to swap opponents with Su Yang? Chapter 552 Duanmu Wuiao. Regret. At this moment, Zeman Huxiao was extremely regretful, with an extremely complicated expression, as if he had eaten a piece of Chen Xiang. If his opponent was Du Fiang from the Du family in Shenzhen, he would still have the strength to fight. If a real fight broke out, with the strength Du Fiang had shown so far, Zeman Huxiao was sure that it would be a 50-50 fight. But now, his opponent had changed to Junwu Iao, an old villain with hidden strength, and Zeman Huxiao was completely desperate. Even though he was not seriously injured now and still had the ability to fight back, he didn't want to fight anymore. Because Junwu Iao was half a step into the foundation building stage, and through the duel just now, he was obviously stronger than himself. If he continued to fight, he would only be more embarrassed, and Zeman Huxiao knew this very well. So, he said frankly that he had lost and gave up on his own initiative. The so-called Hunitun divine art is just an evolution of the Hunitun palm. You are destined not to be my opponent. At this time, Junwu Iao took a sip of wine and smiled lightly. Zeman Huxiao had a complicated expression, staring at Junwu Iao, and said in a cold voice, who are you? I don't remember there being a genius like you in Liaojin Mountain, haha, from the 10 ancient clans, the Duanmu family. My name is Duanmu Iao. Junwu Iao responded with a smile. What? The 10 ancient clans? He's actually from the 10 ancient clans, Aren't the 10 ancient clans forbidden from coming out? I haven't heard from them in over 100 years. How come they're back now? It's said that the 10 ancient clans are restricted, and they can come out for a certain period of time. I guess that time is almost up. The people of the 10 ancient clans are all cultivators. They definitely don't want to see the ancient martial arts world change, so they must be here to stop it. Jun Wuiao is here, and I wonder if any old monsters from the 10 ancient clans have followed him. Before Su Wuji's rise, the ancient martial arts world was always controlled by the 10 ancient clans. Even the most powerful sects had to bow down to the 10 ancient clans. I can still vividly remember the fear of being dominated by the ancient clans in those years. Alice, the 10 ancient clans are too powerful. I remember an incident recorded in a book. About a few hundred years ago, a young disciple sent by an ancient clan could lord it over the ancient martial arts world. Even if they forcibly abducted the daughter of a famous mountain master, the other party dared not resist and had to obey, otherwise they would be wiped out. With the emergence of the 10 ancient clans, I'm afraid the transformation of the ancient martial arts world won't be so easy. The audience was buzzing with discussion, and everyone looked at Jun Wuiao with fear. You're from the ancient clans? Zeman Huxiao was shocked, then gritted his teeth and said, people from the ancient clans can't enter the secular world yet, right? No. Jun Wuiao smiled, took another sip of his wine, and chuckled, so, I'm Jun Wuiao now, Jun Wuiao of Laojin Mountain, humph. Zeman Huxiao snorted, naturally understanding Jun Wuiao's meaning. As Duanmu Wuiao, he couldn't appear in the arena at this moment, and couldn't participate in the 100 Sex martial arts competition. But as a disciple of Laojin Mountain, he was qualified. Jun Wuiao, at this time. Zeman Fengyan, who was sitting on a high seat, looked at Jun Wuiao and said, as a prodigy of Laojin Mountain, you are participating in the 100 Sex martial arts competition, and you are of the right age. There is nothing wrong with that, but can you tell me, as one of the most outstanding prodigies among the 10 ancient clans, what is your purpose in participating in the 100 Sex martial arts competition? Master Zeman, Jun Wuiao met Zeman Fengyan's gaze, showing a rare hint of respect, and said politely, we, the Duanmu family, simply want to witness the changes in the ancient martial arts world. Please rest assured, Master Zeman, the Duanmu family will never interfere in the affairs of the ancient martial arts world. As for me, I haven't fought with people of my age for a long time. I just wanted to stretch my muscles, Jun Wuiao continued. Originally, I planned to lose the last game, hide in the crowd, and watch the show unnoticed, but who knew that among the contestants of the 100 Sex martial arts competition, there would be someone who is half a step away from foundation building. Jun Wuiao smiled playfully and said, I couldn't help but win the game. I planned to see the genius of the ancient martial arts world. The half-step foundation building he mentioned is the old poisonous creature Lin Yuan. I see. Zeman Fengyan nodded, then asked, what do you think your chances of winning are? What do you plan to do after you win? Are you going to be the leader of the Ancient Martial Arts Alliance? I'm not interested in this position. Jun Wuiao shook his head, then took a sip of wine and said with a smile, please rest assured, Master Zeman, I will not enter the finals. Whether I win or lose, I will withdraw after another game. However, the probability of me losing should not be high. Okay, Zeman Fengyan was slightly satisfied with this answer, and then changed the subject and asked meaningfully, are you here alone this time? Is your grandfather Duanmu Wu with you? My grandfather is on the way, and he will probably arrive in Wudang Ancient Town soon, Jun Wuiao said with a smile. The changes in the ancient martial arts world are a big deal. People from the 10 ancient clans all want to see it, is that so? Zeman Fengyan smiled bitterly when he heard this. He had guessed all this a long time ago. After a pause of several seconds, Zeman Fengyan looked at Zeman Huxiao and said calmly, Zeman Huxiao, you may proceed. The outcome of this competition has already been decided. Yes, ancestor, Zeman Huxiao replied respectfully. His gaze fell on Su Yang, and he angrily asked, Su Yang, did you already know that Jun Wuiao was hiding his strength, so you agreed to my proposal? Oh, Jun Wuiao, standing beside him, also cast his gaze on Su Yang, clearly eager to know the answer. He was so confident in his concealment that even a peak foundation establishment cultivator couldn't detect it. How could Su Yang, a 9th-level key condensation cultivator, possibly see through it? Su Yang, fearless, coldly declared, so what? You brought this upon yourself, you, Zeman Huxiao, seething with rage, uttered, "Just wait, after the 100 sex martial competition, I will personally kill you and reduce you to ashes, haha." Unexpectedly, Su Yang raised an eyebrow and said coldly, "Why wait until after? We can settle this now." As he finished speaking, Su Yang's eyes instantly darkened, and a terrifying aura emanated from his body. Whoosh! Unleashing the power of a world away, Su Yang appeared on the stage the next moment. As he moved, a thought flashed through his mind, and the sky sword was already in his grasp. At this moment, Su Yang, holding the azure sword, stood on the ring, his face sullen as he declared, "Zeman Huxeo, I told you before that today you must die. A man's word is his bond. Now, I'm fulfilling my promise." With that, Su Yang's figure flashed, and the 100 Worlds Reincarnation Fist's reincarnation energy was harnessed on the azure sword with overwhelming force. What are you going to do? Poof! Approaching Zeman Huxeo, Su Yang slashed with his sword, and the azure sword instantly slashed through Zeman Huxeo's throat. Bright red blood gushed out, sending the entire crowd into an uproar. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 553, A Sword to the Throat. Zeman Huxeo's strength was considerable. If he had employed the 8th form of the Hunun divine art, he could surely defeat an ordinary late-stage divine master. However, the one who attacked him was Su Yang. And Su Yang had activated the state of reincarnation. Although still at the 9th level of key training, Su Yang's strength was steadily improving. Now, employing the state of reincarnation from his 100 World Reincarnation Fist, he could cause Zeman Huxeo's consciousness to lapse into reincarnation. Though only for a fraction of a second, it was more than enough time for Su Yang. Therefore, before Zeman Huxeo could even resist, Su Yang struck his throat with a single blow, sending blood gushing out. Ugh! A look of terror crossed Zeman Huxeo's eyes. He clutched his throat with both hands, but the wound was ineffective. Seconds later, he collapsed on the stage, dead. Zeman Huxeo's death sent shockwaves through the crowd. He's dead. Holy crap! This Su descendant is so powerful. He actually killed Zeman Huxeo in public, haha. The Zeman family has taken over Kunlun Mountain. As a Su descendant, Su Yang didn't have a favorable impression of Zeman Huxeo. Furthermore, Su Yang has been close to the Zhang family of Fengyang these past few days. Rumor has it that Zeman Huxeo murdered Zhang Magu's sister. Add to that Zeman Huxeo's previous provocation, and it's no surprise Su Yang killed him. What kind of strength does this Su descendant have? He actually killed Zeman Huxeo with a single sword strike. It was just a surprise move. Just like killing Song Qinggang, Su Yang's methods were ruthless, haha, a brazen act. This time, Su Yang will be stripped of his spot and even expelled from Wuding Mountain. The crowd was buzzing with discussion, shocking not only the onlookers in the audience but also the influential figures in the high seats. No one had expected Su Yang to strike so decisively, annihilating Zeman Huxeo in an instant. In the crowd, Zhang Magu, standing with Wang Fuge, witnessed Zeman Huxeo's murder firsthand and remained visibly shaken. "Sister, young Master Su has avenged you. May your soul rest in peace." Responding, Zhang Magu's eyes welled up with tears. He looked at Su Yang and muttered, choking back tears, "Young Master Su, thank you, thank you. The grace of this sword eclipses heaven and earth. Young Master Su is so handsome." Wang Fuge, standing beside him, suddenly beamed with emotion. "I wonder if I'd be this handsome when I wield a sword." At this moment, Su Yang stood on the ring, slowly wiping the blood off the Kangkyong sword, appearing remarkably calm. Unbeknownst to him, Ali had appeared behind Su Yang, vigilantly glancing around, protecting him. Su Yang, on the high seat, Zeman Fengyang was furious. He stood up and said in a cold voice, "You are so bold that you dare to kill my descendants in front of me." Su Yang heard the words, holding the sword in his right hand, met Zeman Fengyang's gaze, and said with a playful smile, "I have already killed the person. What can you do to me, you?" Zeman Fengyang was furious, and the spiritual energy around him was restless. If Ali had not been present, he would have killed Su Yang personally to avenge Zeman Huxeo. "You, descendant, have committed so many evil deeds and dare to provoke me. Kill me." Su Yang looked at Zeman Fengyang and said coldly, "Zeman Fengyang, this is just the beginning. I will make you watch me slaughter the entire Zeman family, and then take your life. Okay, okay. Zeman Fingyin's eyes were bloodshot, and he chuckled in anger. Su Yang, as usual, I'm waiting for you, but now, you can get out of Wudang. You've killed someone in public, and you've been disqualified from participating. Zeman Fingyin cited the rules of the 100 sex martial arts competition. Why should I leave? Su Yang chuckled softly. I do remember there was a rule that said you can't kill in private, but in the ring, there's no limit to life and death. Am I right? So what? Zeman Fingyin said coldly. May I ask where Zeman Huxiao died? Su Yang said with a playful laugh. Haha, he died in the ring. His body is still lying there. Wang Fuge, from the audience, interrupted. That's right, Zhang Magu defended. Zeman Fingyin, young Master Su killed Zeman Huxiao in the ring. How did he violate the rules? This descendant of the Su family is so smart. He can actually play like this. No wonder Su Yang quickly stepped onto the ring and dared to make a move in public. It turns out he had thought of an excuse long ago. Now Zeman Fingyin will suffer a loss. It's interesting. Ha ha ha. For a while, many onlookers talked about it. Spurious arguments, Zeman Fingyin said gravely. Su Yang, do you think your rhetoric will work? Zeman Fingyin. At this moment, Zhang Xianli stood up, carrying a large animal skin drum, and said coldly, how is it useless? I think what young Master Su said makes a lot of sense. You can't kill outside the ring, but inside, life and death are irrelevant. This has always been the rule of the 100 sex martial arts competition, Zhang Xianli declared in a resounding voice. You can't break the rules just because your descendant died in the ring. Although the Zeman family has grown increasingly powerful in recent years, Zeman Fingyin, the 100 sex martial arts competition is not yours to rule. Zhang Xianli had always wanted to eliminate Zeman Huxiao and avenge his granddaughter. However, he had to consider the greater good, the entire Zhang family, and couldn't actually engage in combat with Zeman Fingyin, so Zhang Xianli had to hold back. Now that Su Yang had killed Zeman Huxiao, Zhang Xianli considered Su Yang a benefactor and naturally wanted to protect him. HMPH, Zeman Fingyin stared at Zhang Xianli and said coldly, Zhang Xianli, shut up, Zeman Fingyin, you're too arrogant. Do you really think this is your home and everything you say is yours? At this moment, Shi Haohan also stood up, his face as sullen as water. Shi Haohan, what does this have to do with you? Do you want to claim the bastard grandson Shi Yuan gave you? Zeman Fingyin sneered. HMPH, Shi Haohan did not respond, but stared at Zeman Fingyin intently, his ki surging through his body. Zeman Fingyin sneered repeatedly. Even in the face of pressure from Shi Haohan and Zhang Xianli, he remained undaunted, ready to fight at the slightest disagreement. Alright, brother Fingyin, calm down. Let's talk it out. Why bother with such a fuss? Wang Chongyin smoothed things over with a gentle laugh. Let Su Yang continue to participate in the 100 sex martial arts competition. He's only at the 9th level of key training. Among the remaining contestants, 2 are half-step into foundation establishment. Even if Su Yang participates, he'll just be going through the motions, a mere runner-up. Amitabha. Sect Master Wang is right. Why are you 3 arguing so fiercely over such an insignificant decision? Abbot Yuantong also spoke up, concluding that Su Yang couldn't possibly win first place. As long as he wasn't first, it wouldn't matter. Even second place would be just a supporting role. After all, the first place winner of the 100 sex martial arts competition would, by destiny, become the leader of the ancient martial arts alliance, while second place would be nothing. Hearing Wang Chongyin and Abbot Yuantong's words, Zeman Fingyin remained silent and dispatched his men to collect Zeman Huxiao's body. Next, the competition continued. The second match was Su Yang vs Du Fiang. Chapter 554. Thank you for your gift. At this moment, Su Yang stood on the stage, having sheathed his azure sword. A playful smile played on his face as he quietly waited for Du Fiang to take the stage. He had sheathed the azure sword because Du Fiang was unworthy. With Su Yang's soul-binding abilities, he could easily break Du Fiang's vaunted secret technique with a simple wave of his hand. Take it within you. Is this sword your lifeblood? Jun Wuiao, still on stage, glanced at Su Yang. Su Yang merely glanced at him without replying. Haha, it seems that it is really my life's magic weapon. That's right, you are the descendant of Su Wuji, so it's normal to have some skills. Jun Wuiao didn't care. After taking a sip of wine, He turned and asked again, Su Yang, did you really realize my strength before? Yeah, Su Yang nodded, then said impatiently, are you done asking? You can go down after asking, don't delay my competition, haha, interesting, you are as arrogant as Su Wuji, but unfortunately, you don't have the capital to be arrogant. You are just at the 9th level of key training. Jun Wuiao shook his head and said. Really? Su Yang met Jun Wuiao's gaze, raised an eyebrow, and said, do you believe I can defeat you, with you? Jun Wuiao was slightly stunned, then chuckled. Excuse me, you can't do it, my reputation in the ancient martial arts world is not well known, and few people even know about it. However, among the 10 ancient clans, almost no cultivators of the same level can match me. Jun Wuiao continued, you are only at the 9th level of key training. You may be able to fight against a level higher than you and defeat an ordinary half-step foundation building cultivator, but if you meet me, the only result is a crushing defeat. You are even more arrogant than me. Su Yang smiled playfully, who gives you this confidence? The wine gourd in your hand, huh? Jun Wuiao's face changed slightly at this, and he stared at Su Yang, beginning to re-examine the descendant of the Su family before him. The wine gourd. This was Jun Wuiao's natal magic weapon, and it was also a sacred object of the Duanmu family, passed down for thousands of years. From the outside, this wine gourd looked ordinary, just a container. Even a cultivator at the foundation establishment stage couldn't detect the wine gourd's presence. How did Su Yang know that his confidence stemmed from it? Su Yang saw Jun Wuiao's confusion and chuckled, your wine gourd, despite having no internal space, can store ki. The key you used earlier was stored in it, right? With such a treasure, it's no wonder you're so arrogant. Interesting. After a brief moment of surprise, Jun Wuiao smiled and said, originally, I had 3 opponents in mind. One was Wudang's Wang Yi, one was Buddhist Wu Ji, and the last one was Lin Yuan, who was at the half-step foundation establishment stage. Now it seems we'll have to add one more person. Jun Wuiao chuckled, Su Yang, I hope you can advance to the next round. Let's meet you. I'll show you what a true cultivator is. With that, Jun Wuiao strode off the stage and stood quietly, a spectator. Su Yang didn't seem to mind. How could the Xuantian Immortal Emperor take the provocation of a mere half-step foundation establishment realm scum seriously? Du Fiang, of the Du family in Shenzhen, please step onto the stage. As the referee's voice rang out, Du Fiang, dressed in black, landed steadily on the stage. His eyes filled with murderous intent as he stared intently at Su Yang. Meeting his gaze, Su Yang smiled softly and said, you want to kill me? Yes, Du Fiang said coldly. Su Yang, I know everything that happened in Jiangbei. You killed my father, and today I will avenge him. The moment these words were spoken, the crowd erupted in excitement. So Su Yang and Du Fiang have a grudge? No wonder Du Fiang agreed to exchange opponents just now. I heard that the head of the Du family joined forces with a few people and wanted to force the Medicine King Palace. I didn't expect that he was killed by Su Yang. Now Su Yang is the master of the Medicine King Palace. Du Mingyan has evil intentions. He deserves to die. The Du family usually keeps a low profile. Even the head of the family is only at the Xianzong realm. I didn't expect that there is such a terrifying young genius like Du Fiang. He summoned 3 souls and took one step, and he was at the middle stage of the Shenzong realm. He is really a bit strong. That's normal. Du Kun, the ancestor of the Du family, is a big figure who is famous in the ancient martial arts world. He is sitting on a high seat now. He is at least a land martial god. Su Yang's strength is not weak either. He killed Song Qingyang first and then Zeman Huxiao. Although they were sneak attacks, they should not be underestimated. The onlookers in the audience talked a lot and began to analyze the strength of Su Yang and Du Fiang. Wang Yi, Wu Ji, Lin Yuan, Zhao Zihiro, Zeman Longyan, and other talented individuals were also watching the arena, eager to see what the Su family's descendants had in store. Facing Du Fiang's murderous intent, Su Yang smiled faintly. If you want to kill me, it depends on whether you have the strength to do so. I advise you to summon 3 souls directly, otherwise I'll kill you instantly and you won't even have the chance to summon your ancestors to possess you. HMPH, no need for your reminder, Du Fiang replied coldly, then began to silently chant an incantation, his entire body shrouded in a black aura. Reminder? Excuse me. I just want to seize your soul. Su Yang sneered inwardly and stood aside, silently watching Du Fiang unleash the Du family's secret technique. Soon, Du Fiang's aura suddenly changed, and the soul of an ancestor possessed him. He had originally been at the peak of the Xianzong realm, but now he had leapt a major realm, reaching the early stage of the Shenzong realm. The Du family's secret arts are truly miraculous. Transforming the heavenly sect into the divine sect, this is terrifying. If every member of the Du family practiced the secret arts, wouldn't we have many divine sect masters? You're overthinking it. First, the Du family's secret arts aren't passed down to outsiders. Only members of the Du family can practice them, and not just anyone can master them. Indeed, I guess only a handful of people in the entire Du family know the Du family's secret arts. Du Fiang's transformation astonished everyone. Haha, this is just the beginning. Du Fiang, slightly pleased with himself, continued silently chanting the incantation, and the next moment summoned another soul. With 2 souls, Du Fiang's realm was approaching the mid-stage divine sect realm. Buzz! Next, Du Fiang summoned a 3rd ancestral soul, leaping into the mid-stage divine sect realm. Most importantly, his aura was incredibly powerful, far surpassing that of an average mid-stage divine sect master. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to defeat young Master Mo Dao. Du Fiang, now in the mid-stage divine sect realm, was surrounded by 3 souls, emanating a terrifying aura that swept the entire audience, awestruck. Su Yang, on the other hand, still did nothing, standing there with a calm expression. Su Yang, prepare to die? Du Fiang sneered, and his voice changed, as if it was due to the mixing of multiple people. Then, he leaped towards Su Yang, using a killing move, hoping to quickly end the battle. This battle was indeed quite fast. Su Yang raised his arm slightly, and there seemed to be an inexplicable pulling force on his palm, which actually sucked all 3 souls surrounding Du Fiang into his palm. Then, Su Yang raised the corner of his mouth and said with a playful smile, Du Fiang, thank you for the gift you gave me. Chapter 555 It's all mine. The scene at the scene stunned everyone. Wah, what happened? How did the ancestral spirits Du Fiang summoned end up in Su Yang's hands? There's something strange about Su Yang's palm. He suppressed those 3 spirits, holy crap. Look! Du Fiang's realm has dropped, and he's back to the peak of the Xianzong. What the hell? He wanted to ask for our ancestors' help, but they're being held captive. At this moment, Du Fiang stopped, his face grave, sweat dripping from his forehead. He stared at Su Yang in disbelief. What did you do to me? Du Fiang demanded, panting and gnashing his teeth. Nothing. I just detained the spirits. As Su Yang spoke, the 3 Du family ancestral spirits in his palm suddenly became extremely violent, as if trying to break free from Su Yang's grasp. HMPH, Su Yang snorted coldly, his eyes glaring with a threat. Behave yourself, or I'll destroy you both physically and spiritually. With these words, the 3 Du family ancestors' spirits instantly calmed down, circling Su Yang obediently, seemingly trying to curry his favor. Ancestors, Du Fiang, seeing this, instantly fumed with humiliation. He coldly demanded, Su Yang, return the ancestral spirits to me. Haha, you wanted to kill me before, but now you're asking me to release these 3 spirits. Du Fiang, do you think that's possible? Su Yang sneered. Du Fiang's expression was complex. After a few seconds of pausing, he gritted his teeth and said, what methods did you use? Do I need to tell you? Su Yang raised an eyebrow and said, you're only at the peak of the Xianzong realm now. Do you want to leave the arena on your own, or do you want me to help you? Du Fiang fell silent. He knew he had already lost, but with the ancestral spirit still in Su Yang's hands, how could he leave? Young Master Su, at this moment, Du Kun, perched high on the throne, stood up and declared, it's my fault for not disciplining you properly. The Du family has been greatly offended in the past. I hope young Master Su will forgive me and return the souls of our ancestors. Oh, Su Yang's gaze fell on Du Kun, and he chuckled softly. You are the Du family's ancestor, right? Your family offended me, and Du Fiang even threatened to kill me. And you're just going to apologize and let it go. Then, young Master Su, what do you think will satisfy you? Du Kun said, suppressing his anger. Simple. These 3 souls will be mine, and all past grudges will be wiped out, Su Yang said calmly. The current changes in the ancient martial arts world are unclear, whether they are good or bad, and the 10 ancient clans are eyeing them covetously. Furthermore, Earth is merely a scheme of the extraterritorial Immortal Emperor. On Earth, Cultivators and ancient martial artists alike share a common enemy, the way of heaven and the extraterritorial Immortal Emperor. Of course, most importantly, the Du family is no match for Su Yang, and they have no deep-seated grudge against him. Therefore, Su Yang didn't intend to kill them all. You want the soul of the Du family's ancestor, HMPH, unexpectedly? Du Kun snorted coldly and said in a deep voice, descendant of the Su family, I'm trying to negotiate with you in a friendly way. Do you really think my Du family is easy to bully? As he finished speaking, Du Kun's eyes darkened and he began to silently chant an incantation. Simultaneously, a black soul emerged from his body, emanating a terrifying aura. With the addition of an ancestral soul, Du Kun's aura became incredibly powerful, comparable to a late-stage martial god. Like Du Fiang, he could summon 3 ancestral souls, reaching peak martial god power. However, Du Kun now knew he couldn't attack Su Yang, or someone from the throne would surely stop him. He had summoned an ancestral soul simply to frighten Su Yang. This soul is so pure. Su Yang, however, didn't panic. Instead, his eyes lit up, and he exclaimed joyfully, it's mine. As soon as he finished speaking, Su Yang raised his hand, palm pointed at Du Kun. Seeing this, Du Kun sneered, haha, you ignorant and fearless young man, I'm already a land-based martial god, and you're only at the 9th level of key training. You dare to dream of taking my, what? Before he could finish his words, Du Kun's face suddenly changed, an intense fear welled in his eyes. Facing Su Yang's palm, Du Kun was powerless to fight back. The summoned ancestral soul flew uncontrollably towards Su Yang. In an instant, 4 souls surrounded Su Yang. Wow! This scene caused an uproar in the room, and everyone looked at Su Yang, even the several elites on the high seats. Su Yang, Du Kun gulped nervously, demanding, what kind of trick is this? It's just a simple soul-binding technique. What a coincidence, it happens to counteract your Du family's secret technique. Su Yang smiled innocently, chuckling, Du ancestor, can you summon a few souls? All of them? Perhaps if you summon too many, I won't be able to absorb them all. What a lie. Who are you trying to fool? Du Kun, of course, wouldn't be fooled. He looked at Su Yang grimly, weighing the pros and cons before finally saying, young Master Su, it's our Du family who has lost. From now on, no one in the Du family will provoke young Master Su again. I hope you won't spread your soul-binding technique to anyone else. Su Yang's soul-binding technique was the nemesis of the Du families. Du Kun's first thought was to kill Su Yang to prevent future trouble. But Su Yang had powerful protectors behind him, making his plan impossible. Unable to kill him, Du Kun had no choice but to surrender and compromise with Su Yang, praying that Su Yang would not pass on his secret technique. If everyone in the ancient martial arts world knew this secret technique, the Du family would be doomed. Don't worry, I'm the only one who knows this secret technique. These 4 souls belong to me. I promise not to pass it on, and I will bury the hatchet with the Du family, Su Yang promised with a gentle smile. Okay, I hope young Master Su will keep his word. Du Kun, though reluctant, had to agree. He then said, Fiang, apologize to young Master Su and then leave the ring. Yes, the old ancestor said, and despite Du Fiang's reluctance, he had to obey. Young Master Su, I apologize for my previous offense. Haha, admitting one's mistakes and correcting them is a great virtue. I'm not a petty person, Su Yang said magnanimously. HMPH, Du Fiang, deeply embarrassed, snorted and walked off the ring. It was well worth the trip. Su Yang glanced at the 4 souls of the Du family's ancestors surrounding him, a satisfied smile on his face. Then, with a wave of his hand, he stored the 4 souls in his stored ring. This was a life-saving item, nourishing and strengthening the soul, equivalent to 100-year-old ginseng for ordinary people. When dying, absorbing these souls could ensure his own immortality. Su Yang was very satisfied with this generous gift from the Du family and let go of past grudges. Afterwards, Su Yang stepped off the stage, and the 100-sex martial arts competition continued, with Wang Fuge facing off against Wudang's Wang Yi. Their fight was nothing special. Wang Yi defeated Wang Fuge without even using his full strength. However, if Wang Fuge had used his sword, the outcome would have been much more uncertain. The 4th match pitted the old poisonous man against Zhao Zero of Mount Emily. Zhao Zero, with her lotus sword, was a formidable opponent, but it was a shame her opponent was the old poisonous man. The old poisonous creature has already established his foundation halfway, and with the blessing of the 100 poison banner, he finally won the victory after a lot of effort. Now, Zheng Wuiao, Su Yang, Wang Yi, and the old poisonous creature Lin Yuan, 4 of them have advanced. The last match is full of highlights, with Fozi Wuji and Zimin Longian. P.S. Regarding the plot of the 100 sex martial arts competition, this is really not water. Everyone has their own methods. The ancient martial arts world is about to change. These people must be written clearly. People don't like to read it, so I have accelerated the progress. The finals are coming soon. There will be a climax in the next few days. Ziao will come, and you can guess her identity. Also, I hope everyone can post this book on the Shuhuang Square to increase exposure, please. Chapter 556. What are they discussing? The duel between Zimin Longian and Fozi Wuji was intriguing, not only for the fact that both were renowned prodigies, but also for another reason. They were both ardent admirers of Lan Mai of Chengguanglu. They were deeply at odds over Lan Mai, even clashing fiercely before, but with no clear winner. This time, it wasn't Lan Mai's turn, but rather the battle for first place in the 100 sex martial arts competition, so the battle was bound to determine who was stronger. Haha, interesting. Zimin Longian and Buddhist disciple Wuji have met. I heard that before the competition, the many geniuses had already agreed that whoever won first place in the 100 sex martial arts competition would possess Lan Mai. What's the point of possessing Lan Mai? Su Yang already took Lan Mai's first blood. Even if they won the 100 sex martial arts competition, that wouldn't change that fact. Buddha disciple Wuji returned to secular life for 3 years for Lan Mai. What a determination that must have taken. If he had become the leader of the ancient martial arts alliance, he probably wouldn't have given up Lan Mai so easily. That may not be the case. Now that Buddhist disciple Wuji has converted to Buddhism again, he has transcended the mundane world and returned to Mount Bodhi. I believe he has let go of his obsession. It's useless. Buddhist disciple Wuji hasn't practiced Buddhism for 3 years, while Zimin Longian has been improving every moment. There must be a gap between the two. Yes, Zimin Longian is no simple character. He has never demonstrated his strength in front of outsiders. As the eldest son of the Zimin family, how could he not have a trump card? Everyone watched the two on the stage, whispering quietly, their eyes fixed on the arena, afraid to miss the exciting moment. Not far away, Wudang's Wang Yi, the old poisoner Lin Yuan, Emmai's Zhao Zihiro, Wang Fuge, Zheng Wuiao, Su Yang, and many other geniuses were also watching. Even the favorite to win, Taoist Master Wang Yi, stayed after the match, clearly interested in the battle between Fozi Wuji and Zimin Longian. Taoist Master Wang Yi, who do you think will win between the two? Zheng Wuiao said with a gentle smile, taking the initiative to talk to Wang Yi. Is there any difference? Wang Yi yawned and said casually, no matter who wins, it will not affect my winning the first place in the 100 sex martial arts competition. This, haha. Zheng Wuiao paused for a moment, then said in agreement, that makes sense. Congratulations to Taoist Wang Yi in advance. You're welcome. Wang Yi looked at Zheng Wuiao, as if he had not woken up yet, and said sleepily, Duan Wuiao, you don't have to deliberately make friends with me. The ancient martial arts world now is different from before. If your Duanmu family still wants to enslave the ancient martial arts world like before, Wang Yi, will be the first to disagree. Wang Yi suddenly opened his eyes and said seriously, the duty of the leader of the ancient martial arts alliance is to protect the ancient martial arts world. I advise you to take care of yourself and don't use any tricks to avoid hurting the harmony. Zheng Wuiao wasn't afraid either. He chuckled softly, saying, Master Wang Yi, there's no need to look at our Duanmu family with tinted glasses. After over 100 years of development, the Duanmu family has long since figured things out. Now, we simply want to be on good terms with the ancient martial arts community and coexist peacefully. That's best. Wang Yi put his hand to his mouth, yawned, and turned to look at the arena. Master Wang Yi, what do you think of Su Yang? Zheng Wuiao asked quietly, glancing at Su Yang from a distance. Wang Yi didn't even glance at Su Yang, saying calmly, just a clueless clown. Nothing to fear, haha, great minds think alike, Zheng Wuiao echoed, giving Su Yang a provocative look. Su Yang naturally noticed Zheng Wuiao's gaze and overheard his conversation with Wang Yi. However, Su Yang simply raised the corner of his mouth and smiled softly, not taking it too seriously. Young Master Su, what are those two guys whispering about? Are they saying bad things about you? Wang Fuge approached and asked. That should be it. Fuck, Wang Fuge cried out in rage. How dare these two little bastards talk about my brother behind his back? Young Master Su, we've been playing together since we were little, growing up together, childhood sweethearts. If he talks about you, it's like he talks about me. No, I can't swallow this. With that, Wang Fuge rolled up his sleeves and pretended to walk towards Wang Yi and Junwu Ayao. But he was just pretending. He had just been defeated by Wang Yi and knew Wang Yi's strength, so how could he dare to go and pick a fight? Wang Fuge knew Su Yang would definitely hold him back, so he pretended to be passionate. But he miscalculated. Su Yang had no intention of stopping him. Young Master Su, don't hold me back. I'm going to fight them both today, Wang Fuge said through gritted teeth. I didn't stop you, Su Yang said gratefully. Mr. Wang, thank you for venting my anger. Go ahead, come on, I will silently cheer you on behind your back. Ahem, that. Seeing this, Wang Fuge immediately became cowardly and said with a wry smile, why don't we just forget about it today and let them go first? After all, God is merciful. I hit them so hard, if I beat them to death, it would be such a sin. Haha, come on, brother Fuge, don't you know how much you weigh? Why are you pretending? Zhang Magoo next to him ruthlessly exposed him. Fuck, brother Magoo, are you looking down on me? Wang Fuge raged, gritting his teeth. My current strength, while not unrivaled, is truly exceptional. Beating those two rookies is like crushing them, Zhang Magoo pouted, just bragging. Weren't you the one Wang Yi just kicking off the ring? Wang Fuge explained, I was in a hurry to pee, and it affected my performance. Otherwise, I could easily defeat Emir Wang Yi, right, I could easily defeat him? Amazing. You're my brother Fuge, you're awesome, Zhang Magoo complimented Wang Fuge, then turned to Wang Yi and shouted, Master Wang Yi. Wang Fuge said, damn it. Wang Fuge rushed forward and covered Zhang Magoo's mouth, silencing him. As the two bickered, the battle between Zeman Longying and Fozi Wuji had already begun. Bang! 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 For a moment, the arena was filled with energies and Buddha's light, creating a terrifying scene. Like Zeman Huxeo, Zeman Longying cultivated the Hunan divine art. But it was obvious that Zeman Longying was even more powerful, for he had already reached the late stage of the divine sect. Zeman Longying, in the late stage of the divine sect, had surpassed all the competitors in the 100 sex martial arts competition. Even Wudang's Wang Yu was not as good as him. But in a duel of geniuses of this level, victory was not determined by realm. Wuji's methods were not weak either. Even though he had not practiced Buddhism for 3 years, the Buddhist power around him was still strong. Thus, the two fought fiercely, seemingly evenly matched, and the battle would not end for a while. Su Yang, at this moment, Zhao's hero, holding the lotus sword, walked up to Su Yang from the stage. Chapter 557 Wang Fuge's husband. Today, Zhao's hero, dressed in white and holding a jade sword, looked like a real-life ancient fairy, fresh and refined. At this moment, she stopped in front of Su Yang, her face flushed as she looked at him, a hint of shyness in her eyes. She whispered, I wanted to ask you something the other day, but master called me away before I could finish. My master isn't here today, so I want to ask you more. Can you answer me? Zhao's hero said softly, looking very charming. Miss Hero, feel free to ask whatever you want, Su Yang said with a gentle smile. Then I'll ask. Zhao's hero looked at Su Yang, seemingly too embarrassed to speak, but finally mustered the courage to speak. Su Yang, do you like me? After asking, Zhao's hero shyly looked away, not daring to meet Su Yang's gaze. But at the same time, she longed to hear Su Yang's answer in person, and she kept a furtive glance at him from the corner of her eye. Su Yang was stunned for a moment, touching his nose awkwardly, looking at the little white rabbit in ancient costume in front of him, not knowing how to answer for a moment. At this time, Wang Fuge next to her said first, Miss Hero, I answered for young Master Su, he likes you and loves you so much. You are his heart, his liver, his baby, and he can't live without you. Zhao's hero suddenly looked like a frightened rabbit, but she was very happy in her heart. While fiddling with the corner of her clothes, she asked in a low voice, how do you know that young Master Su likes me? Did he tell you? Does he need to tell me? I am young Master Su's brother. I know him best. Not to mention that you are so young and lovely, even if your master, Nun Sishan, confessed to her, young Master Su would not refuse. As long as it is a female, He always accepts anyone, Wang Fuge responded casually, then turned and asked seriously, by the way, Mrs. Hero, can you eat cold and spicy food today? Yes, I am from Sichuan and can eat spicy food especially. I can also eat cold food. Why are you asking this? Zhao's hero asked puzzledly. It's edible, that means the relatives haven't come, Wang Fuge muttered, then whispered, Mrs. Hero, tonight, young Master Su, go to hell. As Wang Fuge was speaking, Su Yang kicked him away. He then looked at Zhao's hero and chuckled softly, Mrs. Hero, don't listen to Wang Fuge's nonsense. Just treat it as bullshit. Oh, Zhao's hero felt slightly disappointed. Gritting her teeth, she met Su Yang's gaze and asked, Su Yang, can you answer my question now? Well, Su Yang was embarrassed. He wanted to clearly reject Zhao's hero's offer, but he was afraid to upset her, so he feigned confusion and said, Mrs. Hero, the weather is nice today. Su Yang, please answer directly. Do you like me? Zhao's hero pressed on, mustering the courage. Look, Mrs. Hero, there's actually a white cloud in the sky. Su Yang deliberately changed the subject. Zhang Magu, standing beside him, couldn't help but twitch his lips at the words. White clouds in the sky? What the hell is all this fuss about? I see, I think I know the answer. Zhao's hero saw that Su Yang still refused to answer, so she guessed it. Suddenly, she was extremely sad. Her nose felt sore and she began to choke, and 2 lines of clear tears flowed. Then, she gave Su Yang a complicated look, and then left the scene heartbroken. Mrs. Hero, Su Yang looked at Zhao's hero's back and couldn't help but sighed. In the end, he didn't explain. Oh, forget it, let her go, fuck. At this moment, Wang Fuge got up and said with gritted teeth, Young Master Su, what do you mean by let her go? You are so heartless, I really don't know how you can say such cold words with your 37-degree mouth. This is not in line with your personality, Wang Fuge complained and whispered, if it were in the past, a girl as exquisite and distinctive as Zhao's hero, even if she didn't come over on her own initiative, you would pull her into the hotel to discuss the mysteries between men and women. Why have you changed recently? Su Yang didn't want to pay attention to Wang Fuge, but at this moment, he suddenly saw Liu Chushan coming over and standing behind Wang Fuge. Su Yang wanted to punish Wang Fuge, so he smiled lightly and said, haven't you changed? You used to go to the club every day and claim that the club was my home and it was convenient for you and me. Do you still dare to go to the club now? Wang Fuge had no idea that danger was approaching. When he heard Su Yang say that he didn't dare to go to the club anymore, Wang Fuge immediately became angry. Dare? Why not? In order to maintain his face, Wang Fuge said solemnly, the club is also my home now. It's a pity that there is no club in Wudang Ancient Town, otherwise I would go there every day and have fun every night. Really? Aren't you afraid that Liu Chushan will find out? Su Yang glanced at Liu Chushan who was standing behind Wang Fuge, and then said, if Liu Chushan knew about this, I'm afraid you would have to kneel on the durian peel for a long time. Right, haha, what a joke. Wang Fuge held his head high and said arrogantly, I am the head of the family. I usually train Liu Chushan to be very obedient. When she knew I was going to the club, she would not stop me and would even drive me there. Maybe she would even stew a tonic soup for me the next day to nourish my body. Young Master Su, the reason you rejected Zhao's hero was because your 2 sisters-in-law Fixun and Zuir disagreed, right? Wang Fuge said with disdain. Young Master Su, Young Master Su, I look down on you. A man can lose anything but his face. You have to learn from me, revitalize the husband's authority, manage your woman, and don't be idle all day long. It's meaningless, you are so awesome. Su Yang saw that Liu Chushan's face had turned dark, and he couldn't help laughing, and complimented, Young Master Wang, it seems that I need to learn more from you in this regard. Can you tell me how to revitalize the husband's authority? Beat her? You must beat her, Wang Fuge said seriously, women can't be spoiled. If they don't listen, they must be beaten severely until she submits. Young Master Wang, is this how you control Liu Chushan? Su Yang asked. Of course, Wang Fuge boasted. You don't know. During my time in Kyoto, Liu Chushan was beaten to a pulp by me every day. But when she saw me, she behaved perfectly. I told her to go east, and she wouldn't dare go west. She was incredibly obedient. Amazing. Su Yang couldn't help but give Wang Fuge a thumbs up, then smiled playfully. Brother, good luck to you. Huh? What do you mean by good luck to me? Wang Fuge was taken aback for a moment, a vague sense of foreboding filling him with panic. Wang, Fu, Gui. Just then, An irritated Liu Chushan, suppressed by her anger, called out Wang Fuge's name. Fuck, young Master Su, I'm your brother, and you're trying to trick me. Wang Fuge trembled with fear, his face pale as he instantly understood everything. With a thud, Wang Fuge turned around, his hands clutching his ears, and he involuntarily knelt down, quickly admitting his mistake. Honey, I was wrong. Don't hit me. Chapter 558 I am taking emergency shelter. Cowardly. Wang Fuge was scared in an instant, his movements were so smooth and skillful that it was heartbreaking. Get up, Liu Chushan said coldly. Fei Zhuan said that I have to give you face outside. I think it makes sense. If there's anything, let's talk about it when we get home, okay? Thank you for your magnanimity, my wife. Wang Fuge stood up quickly and stood behind Liu Chushan happily. At the beginning, Wang Fuge was not a cultivator, not even an ancient martial artist, and was beaten to pulp by Liu Chushan. But now, he is already a cultivator and could have beaten Liu Chushan a long time ago. The reason why Wang Fuge wanted to become stronger was to deal with the violent girl Liu Chushan. But when he really became strong, he was reluctant to fight back against Liu Chushan, so his position as the younger brother in the family is very prominent. At this moment, Wang Fuge massaged Liu Chushan's shoulders and said with a flattering smile, Honey, why are you here at this hour? I heard you made it to the top 10, so I wanted to come watch you compete. Liu Chushan couldn't help but beam with pride at the mention of this. The man she'd chosen had become famous at the 100 sex martial arts competition, proving she'd made the right choice. But then, Liu Chushan rolled her eyes at Wang Fuge and said, Wang Fuge, you're such a loser. I came here ready to watch you fight, but you were defeated before I even arrived. Honey, I just explained, I was holding my pee, and I didn't play well. Otherwise, who would have won? Who knows? Wang Fuge boasted. Tisk, Liu Chushan pouted, then her gaze fell on Su Yang, and she politely greeted him, Young Master Su. Yes, Su Yang nodded gently. Young Master Su. Liu Chushan continued to look at Su Yang, as if she had something to say, but hesitated. What's wrong, Liu Chushan? Just tell me what's going on. With my relationship with young Master Wang, I'll definitely help in any way I can. Su Yang, noticing Liu Chushan's embarrassment, spoke directly. Young Master Su has a keen eye. Liu Chushan complimented Su Yang before adding, Well, my father wants to see you. He has something to ask. What is it? Su Yang asked, puzzled. I'm not sure. Liu Chushan shook her head. My father didn't tell me. He just said he'd tell you when you get there. My father was afraid you wouldn't want to see him, so he specifically asked me to tell you something, Liu Chushan added. What? He said the Su family's treasure, the 9-story glazed pagoda, is incomplete, and he knows the whereabouts of the 5th floor, Liu Chushan said. Then, young Master Su, my father was just saying that. Don't be angry. He didn't mean to threaten you. My father also told me that if he asks you to do something, he'll tell you the whereabouts of the 5th floor, regardless of whether you agree or not, Liu Chushan said cautiously, fearing to offend Su Yang. Huh? Su Yang frowned slightly at these words. Someone from the Liu family actually knew the void pagoda was incomplete. How could that be? Aside from the first 3 floors, the remaining 6 were patched on using common materials. Liu Chushan's father was telling the truth. But this matter must be a secret. How could someone from the Liu family know about it? It seemed necessary to meet Liu Chushan's father. Thinking of this, Su Yang chuckled softly and asked, Where's your father? He's downtown. I can take you to see him. Liu Chushan said politely. Yes, okay, Su Yang nodded, agreeing. Wife, I'm going too, Wang Fuge, standing beside him, said. Why are you going? Stay here. It's best not to leave Wudang for the foreseeable future, or you'll be in danger, Liu Chushan continued. You're a cultivator, and many people are worried about you, plus, you kept playing the Suona during the competition. Do you know how much those geniuses hate you? Besides, what my father was talking about with young Master Su is quite confidential. I can't even hear it. There's no point in you going with them, Liu Chushan concluded. Wait here for me. I'll take young Master Su there and then come back to be with you. That's fine, Wang Fuge nodded obediently. Yes, and so, Su Yang and Liu Chushan left Wudang Mountain together. Accompanying them was Ali, who was responsible for protecting Su Yang in case of any emergency. Brother Fuge, she's your wife. She's quite beautiful. But what happened to you just now? You're so quick to give in, Zhang Magu said disdainfully. watching the two leave. What do you mean by giving in, Brother Magoo? If you don't understand, don't talk nonsense. I was clearly taking emergency measures to avoid danger. How wise, Wang Fuga said seriously. Haha, you're really good. Zhang Magoo patted Wang Fuga on the shoulder and said, let's go. The game is over anyway. I'll buy you a drink, Tisk. Who wants to drink with a bachelor like you? Didn't you hear my wife say she'll be back with me soon? I'm going to take a shower, put on some perfume, and enjoy my time alone. With that, Wang Fuga left Zhang Magoo and walked away. Fuck, who's single? Zhang Magoo was about to retort, but quickly realized the seriousness of the matter. It seems I really am single. Damn it. These days, not having a girlfriend means you deserve to be ridiculed. I refuse to accept this. After his rant, Zhang Magoo left the scene in anger, planning to wander around and see if he could find a girlfriend. As for the battle between Fuzzy Wuji and Zimin Longian, it continued. They tested each other, each concealing their strength, seemingly in a test of patience. Whoever gave in first would lose the upper hand. It's worth noting that Zimin Longian had already mastered the 8th form of the Hunun divine art, and his powerful energies were indeed more powerful than those of his younger brother, Zimin Huxio. Elsewhere, Su Yang and Ali, led by Liu Chushan, quickly arrived at a restaurant in the city center. The Liu family had accumulated considerable wealth over their years in Kyoto, and this restaurant was theirs. In the restaurant's VIP room, Su Yang met Liu Chushan's father, Liu Jilu. Young Master Su, I've long heard of your name. Upon seeing Su Yang, Liu Jilu hurriedly stood up, clasped his hands, and politely greeted Su Yang. I'm Liu Jilu, Chu Tian's father. Please take a seat. I'll arrange for the food to be served. No need to eat. Su Yang waved his hand, his gaze fixed on Liu Jilu. He said calmly, who told you what you asked Liu Chushan to tell me? Haha, young Master Su is truly a straightforward man. Liu Jilu smiled, then looked at Liu Chushan and said, Chushan, you should leave first. No one is allowed to approach the private room. Yes, Liu Chushan nodded, then left the room and arranged for someone to guard it outside. As for himself, he left the restaurant and went to Wudang ancient town to find Wang Fuga. Master Liu, can you speak now? Su Yang asked again, his heart filled with doubt. Chapter 559 The Identity of the Great Figure. At this moment, only Su Yang, Ali, and Liu Jilu remained in the restaurant's private room. Liu Jilu glanced at Ali. Although he had just arrived in Wudang, he knew that Ali was Su Yang's protector, and a very powerful one at that. So, instead of telling Ali to retreat, he turned his gaze to Su Yang. Young Master Su, our Liu family in Kyoto actually has a great history. We're no small sect. Liu Jilu then spoke. Decades ago, our Liu family once occupied Beishan, boasting a profound heritage, rivaling even Emei and Wudang, but we later fell into decline. Someone forcibly broke into Beishan, using brutal tactics. Our Liu family's masters were decimated. Liu Jilu sighed. Ultimately, thanks to our ancestors' protection, the Liu family was able to preserve its legacy, but we also lost Beishan. After leaving Beishan, the Liu family gradually declined. With the deaths of our masters one after another, our family declined day by day. Alice, he concluded, sighing once more. Oh, Su Yang was puzzled after hearing Wang Fuga talk about the Liu family. Since you guys in Beishan are so powerful, the one who occupies Beishan must be at least a land martial god, and a leader among them. If that's the case, why did you try to curry favor with Zhang Changshen, even going so far as to let Liu Chushan marry him? Su Yang frowned and said, with Zhang Changshen's strength, he's completely unqualified to represent your Liu family in the so-called famous mountain challenge, Mr. Su, Zhang Changsheng isn't qualified, but his master is, Liu Jilu explained. You may not know this, but Zhang Changsheng isn't alone. He has a master from one of the 10 ancient clans, Dongfang Yao, the patriarch of the Dongfang family. On the surface, Dongfang Yao is Zhang Changsheng's master, but as far as I know, they are father and son. Liu Jilu continued. In his early years, Dongfang Yao traveled around the world and met an ordinary girl. The two of them had a very deep relationship, so Dongfang Yao wanted to take her back to the ancient clan. Unfortunately, the Dongfang family was one of the 10 ancient clans. As the future clan leader, Dongfang Yao's marriage was naturally not a joke. The people of the Dongfang family looked down on the girl and drove her away. Faced with his family's opposition, Dongfang Yao fought desperately. He was willing to give up everything for love, even the position of young clan leader. Unfortunately, it was of no avail. He could only watch the girl being sent away. Moreover, the Dongfang family used the girl to force Dongfang Yao to marry the young lady of the Nanguang family. If he disagreed, they would kill the girl. Liu Jiulu continued. There was no choice, the two had to separate. When Dongfang Yao was truly in power, he secretly sent people to look for the girl. Unfortunately, the girl had died, leaving behind a teenage child. The child was Zhang Changshen, who looked very similar to Dongfang Yao. Dongfang Yao instantly understood that Zhang Changshen was the child born to him by his former lover. He originally wanted to bring Zhang Changshen back to the Dongfang family, but he was afraid that his wife would be angry. After all, the Nanguang family is also one of the 10 ancient families, so Dongfang Yao secretly taught Zhang Changshen martial arts and even gave Zhang Changshen a treasure called the Sky Sword. Liu Jiulu told Zhang Changshen's origins in one breath. I see, Su Yang nodded and smiled gently. No wonder Zhang Changshen owns the Sky Sword. It was originally a gift from the 10 ancient clans. Oh, at this time, Liu Jiulu smiled bitterly and said, Zhang Changshen's biological father is Dongfang Yao. I wanted to marry Chutian to him, so that I could win Dongfang Yao's favor and ask him to come forward to take back Beishan for our Liu family. Chutian is my most beloved daughter. If it weren't for helplessness, who would be willing to use their own flesh and blood as a bargaining chip? Master Liu, forgive me for being blunt, you are really too timing, Su Yang said coldly. You don't have the ability to take back Beishan, but you use your daughter's happiness to win the favor of others. Are you worthy of being a father? What Mr. Su taught me is that I have deeply realized my mistakes, Liu Jiulu said repentantly. Really? You don't blame me for ruining your plan? Su Yang raised his eyebrows and said, if I hadn't gone to Kyoto and killed Zhang Changshen, your wishful thinking would have succeeded with a high probability. Don't you hate me? No, no, no. Liu Jiulu waved his hands quickly and expressed his attitude. Mr. Su saved Chutian. I am very grateful. Actually, I regretted this idea as soon as I came up with it. Unfortunately, Zhang Changshen took it seriously and insisted on marrying Chutian. I couldn't stop him. Mr. Su, speaking of this, I want to remind you to be careful of Dongfang Yao, Liu Jiulu said seriously. Dongfang Yao dotes on Zhang Changshen very much, and he makes up for all his debts to his former lover on Zhang Changshen. You killed Zhang Changshen. I can find out about this. I believe it must have reached Dongfang Yao's ears a long time ago. He must seek revenge on you. If you want revenge, just let him come. Su Yang smiled lightly when he heard this, and then said, you haven't answered me yet. How do you know that the 9-story glazed pagoda is incomplete? It's like this, Mr. Su. Our Liu family is from Beishan, and Beishan is rich in natural resources. Liu Jiulu didn't keep the secret any longer and replied, your great-grandfather, Senior Su Wuji, once went to Beishan with a powerful figure with extraordinary means. He asked us to help collect some materials. After careful questioning, my ancestor found out that those materials were used to repair the 9-story glazed pagoda. Moreover, that powerful figure also said something. The 9-story glazed pagoda originally had another name, the Void Pagoda. When the powerful figure Tongshan came to Earth, the Void Pagoda was torn apart. Only 3 floors were intact, and the other 6 floors were scattered all over the place. Liu Jiulu continued, that powerful figure Tongshan also said that there was a tower body in Beishan, the 5th floor, and it is still buried deep in Beishan. Su Yang frowned and said, since that person knew the whereabouts of the 5th floor, why didn't he take it away? He said it wasn't the right time yet. No one can take it away until the opportunity arises, Liu Jiulu said. I wasn't even born then. This is what my ancestor told me. It's true, that great figure who knows everything is quite nice. He talked a lot with my ancestor, Liu Jiulu added. Does your ancestor know his name? Su Yang suddenly asked. After hearing Liu Jiulu's words, combined with the information he had previously learned, Su Yang had a vague suspicion about the identity of the great figure. But he wasn't sure. Yes, of course I know, Liu Jiulu nodded in response. Tell me, what's his name? Su Yang pressed eagerly. The great figure didn't mention a name, but only his title. He claimed to be an immortal emperor, from beyond the realm, and was called the Xuantian Immortal Emperor. Liu Jiulu didn't hide anything. Xuantian Immortal Emperor. After hearing Liu Jiulu's answer, Su Yang's heart suddenly trembled, and many things in his mind became clear. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, It means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 560, Heading to Bashan. Su Yang had heard tales of the all-powerful figure more than once. It was even that figure who had persuaded his great-grandfather, Su Wuji, to abandon the Void Tower and fight against the ominous Omen, while simultaneously challenging the nascent Soul Tribulation. This all-powerful figure was said to be incredibly powerful, capable of rivaling the three immortal emperors from the outer realm. But how could such a powerful being exist on Earth? Su Yang had been puzzled, but now he understood. It turned out that this so-called all-powerful figure was none other than Su Yang himself. Over 100 years ago, he had arrived on Earth and aided Earth in its struggle against the outer realm immortal emperors. Furthermore, he had constructed the soul-locking formation and the five elements interlocking formation on Mount Wudang. But if he had arrived on Earth that very year, why had he been reborn again, with no memories of that time? Su Yang was clear, his current memories were coherent. He had been trapped in the Nine Nether Hell for nearly 100,000 years. In a fit of rage, he had self-destructed, destroying the Nine Nether Hell. Later, Su Yang was reborn into the Su family on Earth, within the body of a dandy. From his rebirth until now, Su Yang had always believed that his rebirth into the Su family was a coincidence. Now, it seemed no coincidence, but a meticulously orchestrated plan. As for the reason, Su Yang couldn't figure it out. He couldn't remember exactly what happened back then. Wang Yangming must know. He said he'd come to see me in a few days. I'm definitely going to ask. Having made up his mind, Su Yang stopped dwelling on it, planning to wait until Wang Yangming came to discuss it. Mr. Su, what I said is absolutely true. I did not lie to you, Liu Jilu continued. Now the fifth floor of the nine-story glazed tower is right under the Bashan Mountains. You are a descendant of the Su family. I must know about the nine-story glazed tower. I guess you must be interested in the fifth floor of the Void Tower, so I used this as an excuse to let my daughter invite you here, Liu Jilu continued. That person said that no one can take away the fifth floor without the opportunity. Now more than 100 years have passed, Mr. Su, I'm not sure if you can take away the nine-story glazed tower, Liu Jilu added. Well, you don't have to worry about this. I will go to Bashan, and I am determined to get the fifth floor. Su Yang looked at Liu Jilu, and then asked, Master Liu, Liu Chushan said before that you have something to ask for. Would you like me to take back Bashan for you? Since Mr. Su has seen through it, I won't be shy. Liu Jilu was a little embarrassed, and then said, Our Liu family is a descendant of the royal family. Bashan has belonged to the Liu family since ancient times, but now, the property left by our ancestors has been occupied by outsiders, and I, the current head of the family, am a coward. Alice, Liu Jilu sighed and said, There is no way, Mr. Su, I have to ask someone for help. I hope you will help the Liu family for the sake of Chushan and my son-in-law Wang Fuge. Su Yang smiled when he heard this, and said lightly, I can help, but after the matter is done, all things containing spiritual energy in Bashan, such as energy stones and old medicinal materials, must belong to me. Upon hearing this, Liu Jilu hesitated for a few seconds before gritting his teeth and saying, Okay. We don't need those things anyway. Our Liu family is currently composed entirely of ancient warriors. However, I hope young Master Su can leave some of the energy stones. My sons are all incompetent, and I'm afraid the future burden of the Liu family will fall to my son-in-law, Wang Fuge. Liu Jilu said, He's a cultivator. Leaving some energy stones will help him improve with strength, that goes without saying. Wang Fuge is my best brother, bar none. I won't treat him unfairly, Su Yang said calmly. Then I'll be relieved. Let's go, Su Yang suddenly said. Liu Jilu was stunned and asked in confusion, Young Master Su, where are we going? Bashan, Su Yang said calmly. Liu Jilu looked puzzled. Why are we going to Bashan at this time? Of course, to recapture Bashan for your Liu family, Su Yang said with a gentle smile. What? Liu Jilu was taken aback, then smiled wryly. Young Master Su, I'm afraid you don't know something. Bashan is a registered, legitimate mountain. There's a rule in the ancient martial arts world that no one can openly seize a mountain, or they'll become enemies of the entire ancient martial arts community. Liu Jilu continued, the only way to recapture Bashan is through the famous mountain challenge. By defeating the current Bashan masters, you can legitimately occupy Bashan. I know all that, but I'm afraid this year's famous mountain challenge won't go on as planned, Su Yang said. Besides, why don't we just go in quietly and subdue the current Bashan masters? On Wudang Mountain, Lan Maui possessed the evil spirit stone and attempted to release the death energy within it. Although the evil spirit stone was sealed by Su Yang, it remained a hidden danger. And then there was the old poisonous creature, Lin Yuan. This old, immortal creature, who knows what he's up to? We had to be on guard. Furthermore, after the 100 sex martial competition, the ancient martial arts world will undergo a transformation. Zeman Fengyun, with his ambitions, will he truly allow the champion of the competition to dominate the ancient martial arts world? The 10 ancient clans will inevitably also come to Wudang Mountain. Will they watch the ancient martial arts world develop in a positive direction? In short, although Wudang is currently peaceful, the end of the 100 sex martial competition is a sign that no one can predict what will happen. Therefore, Su Yang plans to travel to Bashan immediately to immerse himself in its heritage and acquire some energy stones. He has a feeling that his journey to foundation building will be extremely difficult, and the energy stones in his storage ring may not be enough, so it is best to stock up on more. After a brief moment of surprise, Liu Jilu finally nodded and said, "Okay, Master Su, I'll do as you say. I'll return to Kyoto now and inform my ancestor to accompany you to Bashan. Although my ancestor was seriously injured and hasn't recovered yet, he still possesses the strength of a divine sect. One more person means a better chance of victory," Liu Jilu said. "No need. I'll arrange a helicopter, and you can come with me," Su Yang urged. "I have to rush back tomorrow to participate in the 100 sex martial arts competition. Time is running out. You can contact a helicopter." "That, all right," Liu Jilu nodded, finally resolving to put his life and property in Su Yang's hands, and strode out of the private room. "Master, do you really want to go to Bashan at this time?" Ali asked. "Bashan isn't far from here. It only takes a few hours to get there by plane. If we leave now, we'll be back tonight, so it won't affect the competition." Su Yang smiled and said, "I also want to see if there really is a 5th floor of the Void Tower beneath Bashan. If we go together, it shouldn't be a problem." Upon hearing this, Ali fell silent. Not long after, Liu Jilu reappeared, leading Su Yang and Ali out of the private room. Then, the three of them boarded a helicopter, soaring into the sky, and flew towards Bashan. Chapter 561 Zeman Longying's Methods. Meanwhile, at the Wudang Mountain 100 sex martial arts competition, the battle between Buddhist disciple Wu Ji and Zeman Longying was nearing its end. "Wu Ji, I didn't expect that you haven't practiced Buddhism for 3 years, but your strength is still so strong now." Zeman Longying was a little embarrassed. He wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and smiled lightly. "If I give you another 3 years, I'm afraid I really am not your opponent. Not only me, even Wudang Wang Yi can't withstand your Buddhism. What a pity, there is no if in this world. You have wasted 3 years after all." Zeman Longying smiled and shook his head, then asked, "Buddhist son, have you ever regretted wasting 3 years?" Amitabha. Wu Ji was also a little embarrassed. He clasped his hands together and said, "Donor Longying, everything has cause and effect. I am trapped by love. This is the cause, and my cultivation has stagnated for 3 years. This is the result." Wu Ji said calmly, "You have to bear the consequences of the cause you sowed. What is there to regret?" Zeman Longying said, "But, you missed the first place in the 100 sex martial arts competition because of this. Don't you have any regrets?" "None." Wu Ji shook his head and said, "Donor Longying, you are also obsessed with someone. You should understand this feeling. Love makes people blind and crazy. On the road of love, there is no right or wrong, let alone so-called regrets. Everything is the best arrangement." "Wu Ji, you are wrong." Zeman Longying heard this and chuckled, "There is only strength and status in my heart. No matter in the past, present, or future, what I pursue is, first, unrivaled strength, and second, supreme power. As for Lan Mai, being obsessed with her is just a disguise I made to confuse the world." Zeman Longying whispered, "A person cannot be without weaknesses, cannot be without soft spots. Lan Mai is the soft spot I pretended to have. Everyone thought that I had been pursuing her for many years and was willing to give up everything for her." Zeman Longying shook his head and smiled playfully, "Unfortunately, in my heart, she is not even as good as a dog." After speaking, Zeman Longying looked at the Buddhist Wu Ji, wanting to see the other's expression. I'd expected Wu Ji to be furious, but surprisingly, his expression remained unchanged. Wu Ji, aren't you angry when you hear these words? Zimin Longying asked. Amitabha, Wu Ji clasped his hands together and said, the moment I re-entered Buddhism, my heart has been as calm as water. However, Benefactor Longying, your words are inappropriate. I don't like them. As he finished speaking, the Dharma energy surrounding Wu Ji erupted once again, emitting a terrifying aura. Golden Buddha light, like obscure texts, enveloped him, the air humming with a compressed hum. Haha, Buddhist disciple, it seems you still have Lan Maoi in your heart. How can you, with such a mind, wield the ultimate Buddhist skill? Zimin Longying sneered. Let me show you what the true Buddhist secrets are. Hand of great compassion. As soon as the words fell, Zimin Longying unleashed a Buddhist technique, his entire body shimmering in golden light. The vast and boundless Dharma energy converged in his palms, and finally, a sudden strike was unleashed. Bang! With a muffled thud, Buddhist disciple Wu Ji was knocked off the stage by Zimin Longying. He had lost. No one had expected Zimin Longying to possess Buddhist techniques, and what he unleashed was the most supreme form of Buddhist skill. The audience was stunned, unable to calm down for a long time. The hand of great compassion. It's the hand of great compassion. Isn't this technique lost? Even the many abbots of Mount Bodhi don't know how to use it. Strange. Zimin Longying isn't a Buddhist, so where did he learn the hand of great compassion? No wonder Zimin Fenggying is so confident. It turns out the descendants of the Zimin family have such a hidden weapon. Unless Wang Yi shows up, Longying is invincible. The crowd was buzzing with discussion. On the high seat, Abbot Yuantong was also struck by the hand of great compassion. He could no longer remain calm and even stood up. His eyes fell on Zimin Fenggying and he asked, Master Zimin, can you give me an explanation? How could this happen? Why did the descendant of the Zimin family practice the unique skills that were lost in Bodhi Mountain? Who taught him? Of course it was me. Zimin Fenggying met the gaze of Abbot Yuantong and smiled gently. Abbot Yuantong, there is no need to make a fuss. It's just a martial art. If you want to learn it, I can teach it to you. Amitabha, Abbot Yuantong put his hands together and said, Master Zimin, that's not what I meant. I just want to know how you can have the great compassionate hand. This unique skill has been lost in Bodhi Mountain and no one has practiced it so far. Abbot Yuantong added. I'm lucky. In the Kunlun secret realm, I unexpectedly discovered the method for practicing the great compassion hand. Zimin Fenggying said generously. Abbot Yuantong, what I just said is true. If you wish to learn, I can teach it to you. Master Zimin is kind, but I'm old and about to be buried in the earth. There's little point in practicing this unique skill. Abbot Yuantong continued. However, if Master Zimin truly wishes to return the great compassion hand to Mount Bodhi, you could teach it to the younger generation there. That would be a truly wonderful achievement. Yuantong appeared to be aloof and indifferent to fame and fortune, but in reality he was a shrewd man. He wanted to practice the great compassion hand, but he couldn't let Zimin Fenggying teach him. If that were the case, wouldn't Zimin Fenggying be indebted to him for teaching him martial arts? In that case, Abbot Yuantong would never be able to hold his head up in front of Zimin Fenggying again. So, he asked Zimin Fenggying to teach the younger generation at Mount Bodhi. He could lose anything, but not his face. That old bald donkey. Zimin Fenggying naturally saw through Abbot Yuantong's intentions, but he didn't point it out, instead nodding in agreement. At this moment, the referee announced that Zimin Longying of the Zimin family had won. With that, the top 5 spots had been determined. Wudang's Wang Yi, the old poisoner Lin Yuan, Lao Junshan's Zhen Wu Iao, Su Yang, a descendant of the Su family, and Zimin Longying. According to the original schedule, a draw would be held tomorrow to determine one bye, and the remaining 4 would draw lots to choose their opponents. The winner would advance to the top 3, and the loser would be eliminated. After that, the top 3 would draw one bye and go directly to the finals to compete for first place in the 100 sex competition. The remaining 2 would then face off. The 100 sex competition would essentially conclude on the 3rd day, and the Ancient Martial Arts Alliance leader would be crowned. However, with Zhen Wu Iao, perhaps that could be brought forward a day. If Zhen Wu Iao defeated his opponent in tomorrow's match and advanced to the top 3, then the day after tomorrow would be the battle for first and runner-up. Because Zhen Wu Iao had said that if he fought one more match, win or lose, he would withdraw from the 100 sex competition. If he won, entered the top 3, and chose to withdraw, The other two would simply decide the winner. Su Yang was unaware of this. At this moment, he was on a plane to Beishan. Around dusk, Su Yang, Ali, and Liu Jilu arrived in Beishan, Shu. Chapter 562. Arriving in Beishan. The Shu region boasts breathtaking scenery, with hundreds of thousands of mountains stretching endlessly. Among them, the Beishan Mountains are lushly forested and breathtakingly beautiful. Originally, all of this belonged to the Liu family, descendants of the royal family. But now, Beishan has been occupied by 5 powerful land martial gods. On the way here, Su Yang inquired with Liu Jilu about the situation. Those 5 land martial gods had all appeared out of nowhere, their names previously unknown. Decades ago, land martial gods were few and far between in the ancient martial arts world, and reaching that level would inevitably cause a sensation. But those 5 individuals appeared as if out of thin air. Before they seized Beishan, no one in the ancient martial arts world had even seen them. Back then, the Liu family, possessing the Beishan Mountains, naturally possessed numerous experts. In fact, Liu Jilu's ancestor was a late-stage land martial god, comparable to the lay Buddhist Su Yufang of Fujian Mountain. The Beishan Liu family was a formidable clan at the time. While the Liu family's ancestors were powerful, they were no match for the enemy's superior numbers. Of the 5 land martial gods, 3 were in the late stage, and the other 2 were both in the middle stage. With such strength, even 2, let alone 5, could have taken Beishan. Ultimately, the Liu family ancestor was defeated and severely injured, nearly destroying his foundation. Fortunately, the Liu family ancestor had a good relationship with Shi Haohun, who was in the Fengshan land. At a critical moment, Shi Haohun intervened, intimidating the 5 land martial gods and saving the Liu family. However, Shi Haohun couldn't stand up for the Liu family. After all, the 5 land martial gods were not to be trifled with. Crucially, no one knew their origins, their true intentions, or whether there were stronger forces behind them. Even Shi Haohun, wary of this, forced the Liu family to cede Beishan and took the entire Liu family with him. Later, Shi Haohun, out of respect for the Liu family ancestor, took good care of the Liu family, which is why the Liu family was able to maintain their foothold in Kyoto. At this moment, Su Yang and the other 2 stood at the foot of Beishan Mountain, gazing up at the lush greenery. That's roughly what happened. Liu Jilu looked at Su Yang and said, "Young Master Su, decades have passed. I'm sure their strength will have improved. I wonder if your protectors can." At this point, Liu Jilu glanced at Ali. "Don't worry," Su Yang said calmly. "Just lead the way, we'll take care of the rest. By the way, you said those 5 people suddenly appeared. Have you found out where they came from?" Su Yang asked, puzzled. "No," Liu Jilu shook his head, giving a wry smile. "After being driven out of Beishan, our Liu family's reputation has declined significantly. The ancient martial arts sects we once had friendly relations with have begun to distance themselves from us. Finding information about them is incredibly difficult, but one thing is certain, they are organized and must be acting under someone's orders," Liu Jilu said firmly. "Is that so?" Su Yang's lips curled up, finding the journey to Beishan Mountain beginning to become more interesting. "Young Master Su, are you scared? If you want to give up, just say so." "It's okay," Liu Jilu said, "I know they're not easy to deal with. They might even bring in stronger beings." "Then, are you provoking me?" Su Yang turned to look at Liu Jilu. No. Liu Jilu felt a little guilty and quickly waved his hand. "Young Master Su, that's not what I meant, haha. Well, now that I'm here, I won't go back empty-handed," Su Yang urged. "Lead the way. Let's get started early and leave early. We can get a good night's sleep when we get back later in the night." "Yes," Liu Jilu hurriedly agreed, excited by Su Yang's confidence. Then, led by Liu Jilu, Su Yang and Ali quickly ascended Beishan Mountain and soon came upon a magnificent mountain gate. Inside, they were greeted by the Liu family's 1,000-year-old buildings, pavilions, terraces, and ancient charm. "Who are you?" Just as the 3 were about to enter, a group of people suddenly emerged. All of these men, armed and in their 20s or 30s, wore uniform clothing and stared at Su Yang and the other 2 with unfriendly expressions. "Young Master Su, after the 5 land-based martial gods occupied Beishan, they founded a sect called the Small Sword Sect," Liu Jilu, standing beside Su Yang, whispered. "These people are all disciples of the Small Sword Sect." "Yes," Su Yang nodded, glancing around at the dozen or so people before him. Most of them were at the Grandmaster level, with the strongest at the peak of the Earth sect, posing no threat to Su Yang. Although Su Yang considered them weak, they would have been a formidable force in the city. Are you all deaf? I'm asking you who you are, and why aren't you answering? At this moment, the small sword sect disciple at the peak of the Earth sect stepped out of the crowd and spoke coldly. Seeing this, Su Yang smiled, meeting his gaze with a gentle laugh. A descendant of the Su family is visiting. I want your sect leader to come out and see me. Descendant of the Su family, what? I've never heard of them. Are there any powerful families with the surname Su in the ancient martial arts world? The Earth sect master at the peak of his powers asked the others around him with a puzzled look on his face. They were relatively young. Su Wuji was taboo, and the Su family had been destroyed for over 100 years, so naturally they had never heard of him. Seeing everyone shaking their heads, he fixed his gaze on Su Yang again and said coldly, Boy, stop acting so arrogant. This is the main gate of our Xiaojian sect, not just anybody can enter. And you want to see our sect leader? Haha, you're asking for your life or death. Get out of here, or I'll make you lose your head. Oh, Su Yang raised an eyebrow. Are all young people these days so arrogant? Wait a moment, this peak Earth sect master, clearly the leader, glanced at Ali beside him and smirked. I've suddenly changed my mind. You two can go now. He raised his hand, pointing at Su Yang and Liu Jilu, then at Ali, and said with a playful smile, as for her, she needs to stay. The nights in Beishan aren't peaceful. It's too dangerous for a young woman to walk alone at night. I can't bear it, so I'll let her in through the mountain gate. Haha, third senior brother, you're so kind. You're a great role model for us to follow. Third senior brother, how are you going to take care of her? You're not going to take care of her in bed, are you? What's the point of taking care of her in bed? It's a clear autumn day, isn't it more pleasant outside? Third senior brother, the night is long, and we're all quite bored. I wonder if there's a place for us. The small sword sect disciples present instantly understood third senior brother's intention and began to speak up. Some even offered to share. For a moment, everyone's eyes fell on third senior brother, their eyes filled with longing. Chapter 563 The Purple Robe Old Man. Haha, of course there is no problem. This man who is at the peak of the Earth sect realm is the third senior brother of the small sword sect. He said magnanimously, Brothers, if I have a bite to eat, how can I leave you out? Don't worry, just give me 3 minutes, I'm fast, and you can arrange the rest of the time as you like. The third senior brother of the small sword sect smiled playfully and looked at Ali at the same time. He licked his lips uncontrollably. Damn, what a beautiful woman. I haven't seen a woman for a long time since I stayed in the mountains all day. I didn't expect to meet such a charming and beautiful woman today. Haha, my luck is bursting. Not only him, but more than a dozen disciples of the small sword sect at the scene all looked at Ali with ill intentions, and some even drooled. Master, at this moment, Ali's patience was exhausted and she pleaded, Can I kill them? Let me do it, these little bastards. There's no need to do it. Su Yang's eyes were cold as he said in a deep voice, Besides, now that you're with me, you're my woman. No matter how strong you are, in a situation like this, I must be the first to strike. Su Yang said sternly, If I can't even maintain your dignity, how can I be your master? Originally, he simply wanted to find the leader of the small sword sect and use a soul contract to subjugate the current master of Beishan, so that he wouldn't dare disobey him. Initially, Su Yang hadn't intended to kill them all, but these people were courting death and were even thinking of Ali, so he couldn't forgive them. Master, Ali was startled at Su Yang's words, then a shy expression crossed her face. Although she could easily eliminate these small sword sect disciples even without Su Yang, this held a different meaning than Su Yang taking action on her behalf. Boy, are you an idiot? At this moment, the third senior brother of the small sword sect couldn't help but laugh. You don't have a single ounce of Xianqi in you. You're just an ordinary person, pretending. But before he could finish his words, the azure sky sword appeared in Su Yang's hand. Puff. Immediately, Su Yang slashed with his sword. Without any fancy moves, he slashed through the third senior brother's throat in the blink of an eye. Gurgling. Bright red blood spurted out. The previously arrogant third senior brother of the small sword sect now clutched his throat, his pupils dilated, his eyes filled with intense fear. Seconds later, his body collapsed with a thud, dead. A whoosh. The scene at the scene caused an uproar, and the other small sword sect disciples immediately fled in all directions. You, rude people, humiliating Eri, not one of you will escape. Su Yang's eyes were cold as he stood still, swinging the azure sky sword continuously. Puff. 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 The next moment, over a dozen golden crescent-shaped sword energies overtook those individuals, wiping them out. Soon, over a dozen bodies lay at the scene, all killed in a single blow. Let's go in. After dispatching the gatekeepers, Su Yang, Ali, and Liu Jilu strode into the Bashan small sword sect. This is terrible. Someone has broken into the small sword sect. Quickly summon the sect master and have him intervene. The events outside the mountain gate naturally alarmed the small sword sect. With a shout, the ancient and charming complex suddenly lit up. Hundreds of people moving from building to building. A few minutes later, Su Yang and the other two arrived at the spacious training grounds outside the main hall. How dare you trespass into the small sword sect? At that moment, 20 or 30 people emerged from the hall. The leader, dressed in a purple robe, appeared to be in his 60s, his eyes shrouded in darkness. His strength was immense, so great that Su Yang couldn't detect him. He must have been one of the 5 land-based martial arts gods of the past. Surrounding this person were masters of the small sword sect, including several at the divine sect level and even 2 at the peak of the divine sect. It seemed that the small sword sect's strength should not be underestimated. After the purple-robed elder and his group appeared, hundreds of small sword sect disciples swarmed around them. Armed with weapons, they surrounded Su Yang and the other two. Unfazed, Su Yang smiled and asked the purple-robed elder, I only speak to the leader of the small sword sect. Are you the leader? I am the leader, Duan Qingshen. Who are you to speak to me? The purple-robed elder said coldly. He didn't attack immediately, for he sensed Ali's extraordinary presence, and a hint of fear flickered in his eyes. My name is Su Yang, a descendant of the Su family. Su Wuji, the man who once shocked an era, is my great-grandfather. Su Yang introduced himself. What, descendants of the Su family? The purple-robed old man was shocked when he heard this, and then a hint of greed appeared in his eyes. He said excitedly, haha, descendants of the Su family, ha ha ha, great. Everyone knows that when Su Wuji survived the nascent soul thunder tribulation, he did not use the 9-story glazed pagoda, but left that precious treasure with the Su family. Rumor has it that that treasure can suppress ominousness. Whoever possesses it can set foot on earth to reach the core formation in nascent soul stages, or even become a stronger being. Duan Qingshen then sneered, this is why, after Su Wuji disappeared more than 100 years ago, the major sects chose to attack Kunlun and destroy the Su family. I was there that time, but we searched every corner of the Su family and couldn't find the 9-story glazed pagoda. Later, I learned that Su Wuji's son, Su Qianqian, escaped under the cover of the Su family's heritage. Presumably, the 9-story glazed pagoda is on Su Qianqian, but Su Qianqian has disappeared. Duan Qingshen looked at Su Yang and said with a playful smile, I never thought that a descendant of the Su family would come to me today. Oh, Su Yang met Duan Qingshen's gaze and frowned. You also participated in the destruction of Su Yang? Yes, Duan Qingshen said bluntly, but at that time, I hadn't even set foot on the land of the martial god. I was just a minor figure. Your name is Su Yang, right? Hey, if the 9-storied glazed pagoda is in your possession, hand it over immediately and I will spare your life. If it's not in your possession, I will use you to contact other descendants of the Su family. Duan Qingshen's face was gloomy. In short, Su Yang, you can't leave Bashan alive without seeing the 9-storied glazed pagoda. You are very confident. Su Yang smiled softly. Have you ever thought about why I dared to come to Bashan and introduce myself to you? Why? Duan Qingshen frowned. Because I am confident that I can destroy the entire Bashan, Su Yang said in a flat tone. Haha. Duan Qingshen sneered upon hearing this, then said, Su family descendant, I don't have time for you. Come here, tie him up. I'll personally torture him. As soon as he finished speaking, 2 masters of the divine sect realm stood beside him and walked directly towards Su Yang. Ali, kill him. Su Yang said nothing more, simply commanding Ali in a cold voice. Yes, Ali responded respectfully, then casually raised her hand, and a terrifying and powerful spiritual energy surged out. Bang! Bang! In an instant, the bodies of the 2 masters at the peak of the divine sect realm were transformed into bloody mist, dead beyond death. Buzz! Ali's method instantly stunned the entire audience, and everyone's eyes were filled with disbelief. Chapter 564, Peak of the Land Martial God. Dead. 2 peak-level divine sect masters were killed in an instant by the girl before them. This was too unbelievable. All the small sword sect disciples present stared wide-eyed and involuntarily took a half step back. Small sword sect master Duan King Sheng stared at Ali with a stern gaze, his expression heavy. He was a land martial god and had already reached the late stage of martial godhood, his strength not to be underestimated. Before Ali made her move, Duan King Sheng had already sensed Ali's formidable abilities. Without knowing Ali's true strength, he refrained from making a rash move. Therefore, Duan King Sheng signaled to the small sword sect masters beside him to test Ali. It wouldn't have mattered if he hadn't tested her, but this test completely shocked him. This girl, having just used spiritual energy, was clearly a cultivator. Moreover, to be able to reduce two peak-level divine sect masters to bloody mist in an instant, her strength must have been at least at the foundation establishment stage. Once a cultivator reaches the foundation establishment stage, they are equivalent to land martial gods. Nice trick. After a few seconds of silence, Duan King Sheng ignored Su Yang and looked at Ali with fear on his face. He said coldly, "Excuse me, young lady, are you from the 10 ancient clans?" Ali's expression was indifferent. She did not answer, but stood respectfully behind Su Yang. "HMPH, Duan King Sheng said in a deep voice, "even if you don't answer, I know that in today's world, only the 10 ancient clans have cultivators who have reached the foundation establishment stage. Besides, Zeman Fengine of the Kunlun Zeman family seems to have entered the foundation establishment stage as well, but no one has seen him take action, so the details are unknown." Duan King Sheng said coldly, "You can't be Zeman Fengine. You must be from the 10 ancient clans. Tell me, which clan do you belong to? Duangfang, Duanmu, Nanguang, or something else?" Ali still didn't answer. But at this time, Su Yang said lightly, "Master Duan, it seems that you are very familiar with the 10 ancient clans. Speaking of the 10 ancient clans, you know them like the back of your hand." Duan King Sheng glanced at Su Yang and sneered, "I almost forgot that this girl was brought by you. In this case, she may not be from the 10 ancient clans. In that case, then I am relieved. This is Bashan, the territory of the small sword sect. I don't take a cultivator in the foundation establishment realm seriously," Duan King Sheng said coldly. "Although a cultivator is comparable to land martial god once he enters the foundation establishment realm, however, land martial gods also have different strengths. The foundation establishment realm is divided into 4 small realms: early, middle, late, and peak. The same is true for land martial gods." Duan King Sheng smiled confidently. "My small sword sect has 5 land martial gods, 2 or 3 in the middle stage of martial gods, 1 in the late stage of martial gods, and 1 at the peak of martial gods. Su Yang, no matter how strong the girl next to you is, what can she do?" Duan King Sheng threatened. "If you know what's good for you, hand over the 9-story glazed pagoda, and I'll let you go." Avoiding further conflict. "How arrogant. You keep threatening my master. You don't deserve to live." Ali, upon hearing Duan King Sheng's words, instantly erupted in anger, her eyes becoming exceedingly cold. The next moment, she suddenly raised her hand, and a terrifying beam of white light shot towards Duan King Sheng. "Do you think the sect master is afraid of you?" Duan King Sheng saw this, gritted his teeth, and channeled all his energies, converging into a defensive barrier. Boom! The next moment, Ali's beam of white light landed on Duan King Sheng's barrier. Instantly, a terrifying aftermath of the battle rippled outward. Most of the hundreds of small sword sect disciples present were blown away by the blast, some even vomiting blood. So strong, Duan King Sheng had initially assumed Ali, having only just begun foundation establishment, was no match for him. But after making contact, he was shocked to discover that the girl before him was far more powerful than himself, at least at the peak of the foundation establishment stage. This filled Duan King Sheng with panic, and he dared not even slightly neglect his position, hastily mobilizing all his strength to defend himself. "HMPH, you overestimate your abilities." Seeing this, Eris snorted coldly and released another stream of spiritual energy, radiating a magnificent divine power. Wow! The next moment, the sound of a protective screen shattering could be heard, and Duan King Sheng was sent flying, crashing into a stone pillar. Puff! Upon landing, Duan King Sheng spat out a mouthful of blood, his face pale as death, and he lay on the ground, nearly dead. "Master!" Many of the little sword sect masters rushed forward to check on Duan King Sheng's injuries. "Get out," Eri then said coldly. At these words, all the little sword sect masters trembled in fear, standing still, their faces filled with fear. Buzz! At the same time, Eri slowly raised her hand, transforming it into a spiritual arm that gripped Duan Qingsheng's neck through the air, lifting him up. Just because my master has a good temper doesn't mean anyone can threaten him, Eris said with a cold expression. Miss, spare me. I won't dare anymore. I no longer care about the 9-storied glazed pagoda. If you want to leave, I won't stop you. Duan Qingsheng swallowed in panic and begged for mercy. Haha, too late, Eris sneered, ready to kill Duan Qingsheng. Stop. At that moment, 4 robed elders soared into the air and landed not far away. Each of them was formidable, all land-based martial gods, emanating a powerful aura. The elder standing in the foreground, hunched over, his eyes sunken, his eyes withered, and his arms shrunken, looked frail and ready to die at any moment. Yet, he was the strongest of the 4, and his aura was terrifying. If nothing unexpected happens, this person will be the Xiaojian sex-only peak-level land martial god. As for the other 3, 2 are mid-level martial gods, and 1 is late-level. Liu Jilu had previously stated that when they occupied Bashan, the strongest of the 5 land martial gods was in the late stage. It seems that after decades, they have all improved. Brother, save me. This woman is trying to kill me. You must save me. Upon seeing the 4 elders appear, Duan Qingsheng, as if he had seen a savior, hurriedly pleaded for help. Shut up, you didn't treat our distinguished guests well. You deserve this fate. It's your own fault. The frail elder standing in front first rebuked Duan Qingsheng, then his gaze fell on Su Yang. He had been observing from the shadows for a moment and naturally knew that Su Yang was the leader of his group. Therefore, the frail old man did not talk to Ali, but talked directly to Su Yang, and said politely, Mr. Su, I am sorry for not welcoming you in person. I hope you can forgive me. Oh, Su Yang raised a playful smile at the corner of his mouth and said, You are quite polite. Please tell me your name. My name is Duan Qingming. I am the eldest in the family. These 3 are my brothers from the same mother. As he spoke, Duan Qingming looked around at the 3 land martial gods beside him, and finally his eyes fell on Duan Qingsheng, and then he said, He is also my brother, the 3rd in the family. The 5 of us brothers occupied Bashan together and founded the Xiaojian sect. My 3rd brother has offended me before. Please give me some face, Mr. Su, and spare his life. Duan Qingming did not hesitate at all. He chose to show weakness on the spot and put on a very humble attitude. Chapter 565 Secret. Su Yang asked curiously, Duan Qingming, right? Can you tell me your realm? The peak of the land martial god, Duan Qingming said bluntly. That's strange, Su Yang said puzzledly. It's true that I, the protector, am a cultivator, but cultivators are not allowed to set foot on the Jiandan stage. I'm sure you know that she is at most at the peak of the foundation establishment stage, and according to your 3rd brother Duan Qingsheng, the peak of the land martial god is completely capable of competing with the peak of the foundation establishment stage. Su Yang frowned and said, Tonight I fought on Bashan Mountain, not only humiliating the small sword sect, but also injuring your 3rd brother. You didn't resist and directly showed weakness to me. I dare not. Duan Qingming smiled bitterly and said truthfully, At the peak of the martial god stage, I can sense the power of this girl. Even at my peak, I'm afraid I am no match for her. After all, there's a huge gap between peaks. What's more, my blood and ki are dry now, so it's not suitable for me to fight. Even if I do, I can't win, and it will accelerate my death, Duan Qingming said. Once I die, my brothers will not be able to defeat this girl even if they join forces. I'm not afraid of being laughed at by Master Su. Instead, it's better to show weakness and demonstrate sincerity, Duan Qingming added. Ha ha ha, Su Yang smiled and nodded, saying, Interesting. I like your honesty. Then, Master Su, could you please let my 3rd brother go? He's almost collapsing, Duan Qingming said, seizing the opportunity. No, the smile on Su Yang's face suddenly stopped, replaced by a gloomy look. He just said it himself, that he was also involved in the destruction of the Su family by the major sects back then. I believe you, hiding in the dark, already know my identity. Do you think I will let him go, young Master Su? Duan Qingming smiled bitterly. My 3rd brother did participate. Not only that, all 5 of us brothers participated. It's just that the 5 of us were just small fry at the time, and we didn't even set foot in Xianzong. We were only responsible for cleaning up the scene and collecting the bodies of the Su family warriors who died tragically on Kunlun Mountain. Duan Qingming continued, Speaking of this matter, young Master Su, there are some things I say now that you may not believe and think I'm lying. What are you talking about? Tell me. Su Yang said lightly. Back then, the masters from the major sects slaughtered the Su family. The scene flowed like a river of blood, and hundreds of corpses piled up like a small mountain. Duan Qingming said, the 5 of us brothers were responsible for disposing of the bodies. The original order from our side wanted us to abandon the bodies to Kunlun Mountain, where wild animals would feast on them, but we 5 brothers didn't want to do such a wicked thing, so we took the time to bury all the bodies at the foot of Kunlun Mountain. If you don't believe me, young Master Su, you can go to Kunlun Mountain and see for yourself. Those unmarked graves were dug out by the 5 of us, one pit at a time. Duan Qingming looked at Su Yang and continued, so, young Master Su, if you think about it, we owe you a debt of gratitude. Can you, in consideration of burying the powerful Su family members, give my 3rd brother a chance to live? Duan Qingming pleaded. Su Yang stared at Duan Qingming as he spoke, realizing that he didn't seem to be lying. Now, Su Yang's mastery of the Immortal Emperor's soul was growing. Even a peak-level land martial god would be caught lying in his presence. It seems Duan Qingming's words are true. If so, I truly owe them a favor. With this thought in mind, Su Yang's gaze fell on Ali and he softly said, Ali, release Duan Qingshen. Yes, Ali, never hesitant to Su Yang's orders, immediately dissipated the illusory spiritual arm. Duan Qingshen then fell to the ground, gasping for breath, his face slightly pale. Third brother, several nearby land martial gods came over, some channeling ki into Duan Qingshen's body, others offering healing medicine to heal him. It seemed the 5 brothers had a strong bond. Mr. Su, thank you for your kindness. Duan Qingming glanced at his 3rd brother, then looked at Su Yang, cupping his fist in gratitude. No need for thanks. Su Yang, I'm not ungrateful. You collected the bodies of my ancestors back then. Let's put Duan Qingshen's defiance behind us today, Su Yang said with a wave of his hand. Mr. Su, your generosity is admirable. Duan Qingming complimented Su Yang again, then asked, I wonder why Mr. Su came to Beishan so late at night. I was asked to do so. As for the specific matter, Su Yang pointed to Liu Jilu next to him and smiled softly. His name is Liu Jilu, a descendant of the original Liu family of Beishan. Duan Qingming, now you understand what I mean, right? The Liu family of Beishan. Duan Qingming, upon hearing this, understood Su Yang's meaning. He had simply been asked to take back Beishan, and he felt a sense of unease. Why, you don't want to give up Beishan? Su Yang frowned. Young Master Su, Duan Qingming said with a helpless wry smile. The matter of Beishan is rather complicated and cannot be explained in a few words. Young Master Su, please follow me to the main hall so we can discuss it in detail. Okay, Su Yang nodded, eager to see what Duan Qingming had to say. Before long, Su Yang and Ali arrived. Besides Su Yang and Ali, only the 5 Duan brothers were present. As for Liu Jilu, he remained, as this matter was of grave importance and the fewer people who knew about it, the better. At this moment, Su Yang was treated as a guest of honor by the 5 Duan brothers, seated on a chair in the main hall, with Ali standing beside him. The 5 Duan brothers stood below. Notably, Duan Qingshen, whose injuries had healed somewhat, also stood below, his earlier scorn and arrogance gone. Duan Qingming, can you speak now? Su Yang said calmly. Yes, Duan Qingming met Su Yang's gaze and said, the 5 of us brothers have been in the ancient martial arts world for many years and we all have good talent, but if we didn't have a backer, we wouldn't have suddenly become successful. Back then, we obtained a lot of cultivation resources from them, even martial arts secrets, which allowed us to reach the realm of land martial gods within a few decades, and they didn't ask anything else of us, just to occupy Beishan and wipe out the Liu family. Duan Qingming continued, we know that in the martial arts world, we can't do anything too extreme. We can occupy Beishan, but we can't destroy the Liu family, otherwise we will only be infamous. So, I secretly sent a letter to Shi Haohun in the Fengshan land, informing him to come forward and protect the Liu family. This way, the 5 of us brothers wouldn't be too embarrassed, and in the end we finally got the best of both worlds. Young Master Su, today you want to stand up for the Liu family and take back Beishan. If Beishan belongs to the 5 of us brothers, I will take the 4 brothers and leave Beishan without saying a word, and never set foot there again. Duan Qingming smiled bitterly and said, but we can't leave. If we abandon Beishan, not only will the 5 of us brothers face a disastrous end, but the Liu family will also be unable to take control of Beishan. Otherwise, the entire Manchu clan will be wiped out. At this point, Duan Qingming looked at Su Yang and asked, "Young Master Su, do you want to know who is backing the five of us brothers?" "Who? Tell me," Su Yang asked curiously. Okay, Duan Qingming didn't hide anything and told Su Yang the truth about the forces behind him. Chapter 566, The 10 Ancient Clans, Zai Family. An ancient clan. The people behind the five Duan brothers are surprisingly the Zai clan, one of the 10 ancient clans. The 10 ancient clans, each descended from pre-Qin Kigan practitioners, possess profound heritage. However, even among the ancient clans, there are strong and weak. As one of the 10 ancient clans, the Zai clan's power surpasses that of the other clans, ranking at least in the top 3. It's a truly formidable force. Back then, the Zai clan's patriarch, impressed by the talents of the five Duan brothers, gifted them with numerous resources and secret manuals to help them improve their strength. The Zai clan's goal was to have the five Duan brothers conquer Cultivation on their behalf. Due to an agreement, the 10 ancient clans are forbidden from entering the world, yet they are unwilling to remain in seclusion, Duan Qingming explained. Thus, the various ancient clans secretly cultivate their power, hoping to have their own people replace the various famous mountains. Young Master Su, the 100 Sex Martial Arts competition is currently in full swing in Wudang Mountain. I have received some news that you are also a participant and have advanced to the top 5, Duan Qingming continued. I believe you should know that after the 100 Sex Martial Arts competition, the ancient martial arts world will undergo an unprecedented transformation. Whether this transformation will be good or bad, no one knows, but one thing is certain, the 10 ancient clans certainly do not want the ancient martial arts world to flourish. If the ancient martial arts world changes for the better, they will definitely stop it, Duan Qingming continued, but if they can't stop it, we will be their backup. From what I understand, not only has the Zai family cultivated ancient clan talents, but the other 9 ancient clans have also recruited many of the ancient clan geniuses of that time. Duan Qingming said, I remember that the current controllers of Laojian Mountain are from the ancient clan, and it seems that it has been occupied by the Duanmu clan. Apart from that, all the mountains with some fame, but not very well known, have been occupied by the 10 ancient clans. After all, the 10 ancient clans have their own concerns and dare not openly interfere in the ancient martial arts world, so they choose the less famous mountains. Duan Qingming looked at Su Yang and said with a wry smile, the 5 of us brothers are none staff members of the Zai clan. The Zai clan has set its sights on Cultivation and allowed us to occupy it. This place does not belong to us, Duan Qingming continued. If we give up Cultivation, we will inevitably be hunted by the Zai clan. Although I have reached the peak of the land martial god, the 10 ancient clans are all cultivators. Although due to the ominous laws of heaven, even their ancestors did not dare to rashly set foot on the Jinden stage, there are many masters at the peak of the foundation establishment stage among the ancient clan. Duan Qingming continued, plus, as I just said, there is a gap between peaks. For example, some people, who are both at the peak of the foundation establishment stage, can easily kill opponents of the same realm. Duan Qingming smiled bitterly. The 5 of us brothers dare not defend the Zai family, so, Mr. Su, please forgive me for not being able to give up Cultivation. Also, even if Cultivation belongs to the Liu family tonight, as long as the news gets out and the Zai family knows about this, the consequences will be unimaginable, Duan Qingming reminded. By then, I'm afraid the entire Liu family will be destroyed. I see. After listening to the whole story, Su Yang became very interested in the 10 ancient clans and asked, do you mean that the power of the 10 ancient clans has infiltrated the ancient martial arts world? Yes, Duan Qingming nodded and said, now on Wudang Mountain, there are quite a few sects that have already belonged to the 10 ancient clans. There is also a group of people who defected to the ancient clans a long time ago, or at least chose to cooperate with the ancient clans, Duan Qingming said seriously. It is estimated that only the Fengshan area, between the mountains and the sea, deep in the clouds and mist, Mount Mai, Mount Bodhi, Mount Wudang, and other transcendental forces have not been infiltrated by the 10 ancient clans. Haha, you are quite ambitious. Su Yang showed a hint of sneer, and then asked, Cultivation is also qualified to participate in the 100 Sex Martial Arts competition. Why didn't you send anyone? The third brother wanted to join in the fun, but I stopped him. Duan Qingming shook his head and said, I know that this year's 100 Sex Martial Arts competition is not peaceful, so I don't want to compete. I don't have any big wishes. I just hope that the 5 brothers can live in peace, Duan Qingming said casually. We don't want to get involved in the affairs of the ancient martial arts world and the 10 ancient clans. Oh, You have a good character, Su Yang smiled. However, will the Zai family agree to you staying in Beishan? Haha, to be honest, Mr. Su, after I stepped into the peak of the land martial god, I have a certain say. The Zai family still cares about my opinion. Duan Qingming stroked his beard and smiled. Those people in the Zai family have empty eyebrows. They are worried that the ancient martial arts world will develop in a positive direction and they can't stop it, so they need me to serve them in the future. Duan Qingming added, I heard that if the ancient martial arts world reforms and develops in a positive direction, the strength of the ancient martial artists will very likely increase significantly, and even after the land martial god, a new realm will appear, the foundation building realm of the cultivation system and the land-based martial arts realm of the ancient martial arts system are relative, and after the cultivator builds the foundation, it is the Jiandan realm, but on Earth, no cultivator dares to set foot in the Jiandan realm. Once a new realm appears among the ancient martial artists, it goes beyond the scope of the land martial god, and they can crush the cultivators on Earth, Duan Qingming said lightly. Therefore, the Zai family treats me very well. If there is really turmoil in the future, they are counting on me to come forward to maintain it, the realm above the land martial god. Upon hearing this, Su Yang's gaze fell on Duan Qingming, and he asked curiously, isn't the Zai family afraid that if you really take that step, you will turn the tables and invade the Zai family? I won't, and I can't. Duan Qingming shook his head, then smiled bitterly. The Zai family is willing to use the 5 of us brothers and give us resources and secret manuals. How could they not think of this? To be honest, the 5 of us brothers consumed the Zai family's poison decades ago. This poison requires an antidote every month. If you don't take it, you will bleed to death within 3 days, Duan Qingming said helplessly. This poison is mysterious and strange. Only 5 people in the world can cure it. Only the Zai family has a secret antidote, but it can't be eradicated. It can only be taken monthly to suppress the toxicity. Master Su, under such circumstances, how dare the 5 of us brothers betray the Zai family? Duan Qingming continued, after all, the Zai family and I have maintained a balance now. They are polite to me, and I am polite to them. This time we are just using each other. However, before I reached the peak of the land martial god, the Zai family ordered me around and didn't take me seriously at all. I tried more than once to lead my brothers to break free from the Zai family's control, but unfortunately, I couldn't cure the poison, so everything was in vain. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 567 Follow me, I will detoxify you. Duan Qingming sighed and said, well, forget it. Let's not talk about these things, young Master Su, let's end this matter today. Please go back. The 5 of us brothers will keep the secret and not tell anyone about your visit, Duan Qingming continued. Of course, the protectors around you are capable of killing all 5 of us brothers, or even slaughtering the entire Ziojian sect, and thus taking control of Beishan, but I advise you not to do so, otherwise you will be hunted endlessly by the Zai family. Young Master Su, I'm not saying this to threaten you, but merely to remind you. As for your decision, it's up to you, Duan Qingming added. Su Yang glanced at the other members of the Duan family, finally landing his gaze on Duan Qingming. He chuckled softly. Of course I can tell you have good intentions and don't want me to provoke the Zai family, however, I don't even care about the Zai family, one of the 10 ancient clans. Beishan is my destiny, Su Yang said seriously. Since that's the case, Master Su, please proceed. The 5 of us brothers will never back down. Duan Qingming became serious, his ki surging through his body, ready to fight back. As for his 4 brothers, with the exception of Duan Qingshen, the leader of the small sword sect, they all entered combat mode. Duan Qingming, you know you're no match for Ali, yet you still want to fight us. Su Yang raised an eyebrow. If we give up Beishan, we'll all die. Rather than die from the poison of the Zai family, it's better to fight a vigorous battle, Duan Qingming responded, then turned to look at his 4 brothers and sighed. Alice, it's a pity that my brothers will die with me. 2nd brother, 3rd brother, 4th brother, 5th brother, I'm so sorry. I didn't take good care of you. As he spoke, Duan Qingming's eyes reddened slightly. Brother, don't say that. You have taken good care of us over the years. Yes, brother. Our parents died early. If it weren't for you, we would have starved to death. We are brothers. It's a great blessing to die on the same day of the same month of the same year. Ha ha ha. The 5 brothers of the Duan family have made preparations for death. Seeing this, Su Yang raised a playful smile at the corner of his mouth, and chuckled lightly. I probably understand. If you stay and resist tonight, you will surely die. If you do nothing, give up Asian, and fail to report to the Zai family, it will also be a dead end. For you, it's all dead ends. It's indeed very difficult, but, having said that, Su Yang deliberately paused, and then changed the subject and said, you still have a third way to go. I wonder if you are willing. Duan Qingming immediately became interested after hearing this, and hurriedly asked, Mr. Su, please speak, I must have this Bashan, but you don't have to die. Su Yang looked around at the 5 brothers of the Duan family, and said seriously, as long as you promise to serve me from now on, I will keep you alive, Mr. Su. Duan Qingming thought Su Yang had changed his mind. After hearing this, he was a little disappointed. He smiled bitterly and said, thank you for your kindness. It's not that the 5 of us brothers are unwilling to follow you, but the poison of the Zai family has penetrated into our bones and cannot be. I can cure it, Su Yang said seriously. I'm absolutely confident I can purge the poison from your bodies and turn you back into normal people. You won't have to take the antidote every month anymore, and you'll be free from the Zai family's control. This, Duan Qingming said in disbelief. Young Master Su, are you kidding? Haha, are you kidding? You'll know after you try it, Su Yang smiled. If I can detoxify you, you'll sign a soul contract with me. From now on, you'll obey only me. If you agree, I can detoxify you now. Detoxification. Upon learning that Su Yang could detoxify, the 5 Duan brothers' breathing quickened, clearly filled with excitement. For decades, they'd suffered from the toxins, tormenting them physically and mentally. In the past few years, in an effort to convince the Duan brothers of the importance of the antidote and to win them over, the Zai family had never delivered the antidote on time. Almost every month it was overdue. If they missed the antidote, they would suffer unbearably, as if a million poisonous insects were gnawing at their bodies. The excruciating pain was unbearable. Although the Zai family had always sent medicine promptly as a gesture of friendship after reaching the peak of the land martial god realm, none of them could forget the feeling before. The 5 Duan brothers didn't want the poison to linger in their bodies for even a moment, and now, hearing that Su Yang was confident in detoxification, they were naturally excited. Young Master Su, this matter is too serious. I need to discuss it with the other 4 brothers, Duan Qingming said. Su Yang nodded and said, okay. With Su Yang's permission, the 5 Duan brothers left the hall. A few minutes later, they returned. Young Master Su, Duan Qingming, standing at the front, said, we've made a deal. If you can free us from the torment of the poison, we'll serve you. Okay, Su Yang smiled, then formed 5 soul contracts with his hands, saying calmly, drop your blood on them and sign a soul contract with me. Soul contract. Duan Qingming and the other 3, despite having reached the land martial god realm, had never heard of such a thing. However, having promised Su Yang, they wouldn't go back on their word. Led by Duan Qingming, they bit their fingers, squeezed out a drop of blood, and dripped it onto the soul contract. Instantly, the contract took effect, and the lives of the 5 Duan brothers depended on Su Yang's single thought. This, Duan Qingming sensed something unusual and asked, puzzled, young Master Su, this contract, from now on, you must never disobey me again. I only need a thought to shatter your souls. I can also read your every thought, so be honest, Su Yang continued. I'm a very cautious person, and only this method can reassure me. Don't worry, if you have no second thoughts towards me, I won't use the soul contract to punish you, Su Yang added. Don't think I'm tricking you. You'll soon realize that you're lucky to be able to follow me. Duan Qingming sighed deeply. The poison hadn't been cleared yet, and yet the 5 brothers had to endure another contract. However, since he had made his choice, he couldn't regret it now, so Duan Qingming urged, young Master Su, can you detoxify me now? Yes, Su Yang nodded, and then raised a playful smile at the corner of his mouth, and began to detoxify the 5 brothers of the Duan family. Chapter 568, Life and Death Curse. Su Yang had previously identified the poison the 5 Duan brothers had been poisoned with. It was a form of cultivation. This type of poison required a cultivator to administer, and the toxins penetrated deep into the bone marrow, making it impossible for ordinary people to remove. However, Su Yang had practiced cultivation for nearly 100,000 years, so this poison was child's play for him, not worth mentioning. However, since Su Yang was only at the 9th level of key training, his spiritual energy was weak, so some effort would be required. Thus, the 5 twin brothers sat cross-legged in the main hall while Su Yang began to detoxify them. As for Ali, he stood guard, just in case. Time flew by, and in a blink of an eye, it was already late at night. Finally, we've done it. We're still in time for tomorrow's 100 sex martial competition. Su Yang smiled, then withdrew his hand and said with a gentle laugh, currently, you should cultivate your ki and regulate your breathing to see if the toxins have been completely eliminated. Upon hearing this, the 5 twin Kingming brothers were overjoyed, circulating their ki and examining their bodies. Puff, puff, puff. But the next moment, all 5 of them simultaneously spat out blood, their faces turning incredibly pale, and they all lay on the ground wailing in agony. Even Duan Kingming, at the peak of the land martial god realm, could not endure the agony at that moment. Su. Young Master Su, what's going on? Why does it feel like a raging fire is burning inside me? My internal organs seem to be incinerating them, Duan Kingming demanded hurriedly, fighting back the agony. We too, the other 4 members of the Duan family said through gritted teeth, beads of sweat the size of beans oozing from their foreheads. Su Yang frowned slightly, his eyes full of doubts. He re-examined the bodies of the 5 people of the Duan family. After a moment, he found the reason and murmured, life and death curse, haha, I didn't expect the Zai family to have the life and death curse. They have a backup plan. Not only do they control you with poison, but they also planted the life and death curse in your bodies just in case. Su Yang smiled lightly. Could it be that the Zai family would cultivate you boldly? Who knew that they would cultivate a peak martial god with a life and death curse as a means? You 5 brothers can only work for them in this life, but unfortunately, you met me, and the Zai family's wishful thinking is doomed to fail. Su. Mr. Su, what is the life and death curse? At this time, Duan Kingming asked painfully. This is a secret technique of cultivators. Once implanted within a human body, it controls their soul. Obey and they live, refuse and they die, hence the name, the life and death curse. Su Yang continued, it sounds impressive, but it's actually a weakened version of a soul contract, like a useless tool. Presumably, the moment the toxins were removed, the life and death curse was triggered, causing it to take effect, which is why you're suffering so terribly, Su Yang added. Young Master Su, can you break it? Duan Kingming asked tentatively, addressing Su Yang as you. Yes, but, Su Yang paused, glancing at the time, feeling a little embarrassed. It was late at night. If he flew back, he wouldn't be late for tomorrow's competition. But if he stayed to help Duan Kingming and the other 5 brothers break the life and death curse, it would inevitably delay them for a long time, and he might not be able to return tomorrow. If he didn't break the life and death curse for the 5 Duan brothers, they would suffer terribly and eventually die in agony. Oh, never mind. Su Yang looked at the 5 Duan brothers lying wailing on the ground, sighed, and said, the bottom line is, this life and death curse was caused by my negligence. I didn't notice it at first, which led to you being in danger. Besides, now that you've surrendered to me and become my subordinates, I naturally won't stand by and watch you perish, Su Yang said sternly. Thank you, young Master Su, Duan Kingming hurriedly thanked him. You're welcome, Su Yang nodded, then smiled playfully, saying, casting a life and death curse is no simple task. It requires a vast amount of spiritual energy. Without 2,000 energy stones, you can't cast a life and death curse. All 5 of you brothers have life and death curses on you. It's clear that the Zai family has invested heavily in you, Su Yang continued. The activation of the life and death curse right now isn't a bad thing for you. It's a blessing in disguise for the 5 of you. Su, young Master Su, what do you mean? Duan Kingming asked, puzzled. Haha, I'll use some means to transform the power of the life and death curse into beneficial energy for you, Su Yang chuckled softly. That's 2,000 energy stones. The power they possess shouldn't be underestimated. If nothing goes wrong, your 4 brothers, whether they were mid or late stage land martial gods, will all reach the pinnacle of martial god. As for you, Duan Kingming, it's simply because there's no path above martial god. Otherwise, you would have definitely advanced, Su Yang continued, but given the current situation, you too can become a supreme peak martial god. It'll be hard to find an opponent in your realm. This, Duan Kingming was overjoyed, briefly ignoring the pain in his body. He excitedly said, thank you, young Master Su, thank you, Young Master Su, the other 4 members of the Duan family, including Duan King Shen, were all excited and thanked Su Yang. There's no time to lose. I'm about to attack. Be prepared. It's going to be very painful, Su Yang warned. Then without hesitation, he pressed his hands together, and spiritual energy surged through his body. Since he had decided to help the 5 Duan brothers, he had no regrets. However, he wouldn't be able to return to Wudang Mountain tomorrow, and he didn't know who would take first place in the 100 sex martial competition. What would happen after the competition? What exactly was this so-called reform? Would the 10 ancient clans intervene? As for Lan Mai, Su Yang wasn't worried that she wouldn't be able to see him and would release the death energy within the evil spirit stone. Because Su Yang had sealed the evil spirit stone, no one except him, not even a cultivator at the peak of the foundation establishment stage, could unseal it. Now, Su Yang's priority was not only to help the 5 Duan brothers break the curse of life and death, but also to improve their strength. Wudang Mountain was definitely not peaceful. Once the situation in Beishan was resolved, Su Yang would lead 5 peak-level land martial gods and head straight for Wudang Mountain. 5 peak-level martial gods were equivalent to 5 peak-level foundation establishment cultivators, and they were no less formidable. Duan Qingming's true strength would rise to a terrifying level, surely a match for Zeman Fengyan. Time slipped by, and in the blink of an eye, it was already late the next night. The 5 Duan brothers sat cross-legged in a circle, with Su Yang sitting in their center. Threads of spiritual energy, divided into 5 streams, continuously flowed into the bodies of the 5 Duan brothers. This state had persisted for over 20 hours. Finally, at this moment, Su Yang let out a long sigh, opened his eyes, and stood up. At the same time, the 5 Duan brothers also opened their eyes, their faces filled with intense excitement, and they looked at Su Yang with eyes filled with gratitude and respect. Chapter 569 The Current Situation of Wudang. Land Martial God, Peak. At this moment, all 5 Duan brothers have entered the peak realm of Land Martial God. Even the 3 who were originally only in the middle stage of Martial God are now at the peak of Martial God. Leaping 2 levels in a row may seem a bit exaggerated, but it makes sense if you think about it carefully. The life and death curse represents 2,000 energy stones, and the energy contained is so terrifying that it can help them reach the peak of Land Martial God. As for Duan Qingming, he is even more powerful at this moment. His blood and energy are like the sea, and his body is full of true energy. Just standing still gives people a strong sense of oppression. Ali, how do you feel? Is Duan Qingming qualified to be your opponent now? At this time, Su Yang looked at Ali beside him and smiled softly. Not enough, Ali shook his head, and then said, if a real fight breaks out, he will die within 3 moves. However, his current combat power should be similar to Zeman Fengyan, or even surpass Zeman Fengyan. It is difficult to find his opponent in the peak foundation building realm. Su Yang smiled. Since it is difficult to find an opponent in the peak foundation building realm, how can you still be confident that you can kill him within 3 moves? Master, you forgot that I am a demon. Ali laughed softly. The demon race has a strong body. In the same realm, the demon race is stronger than the human race, not to mention that I am a 9-tailed dark fox. At the peak of foundation building, I don't take it seriously at all. Even if an early stage giant comes, I am not afraid. Haha. Su Yang smiled, and then said, I really don't believe this evil, Ali. After I step into the peak of foundation building, I will compete with you to see if the human race at the peak of foundation building can beat you. Master, you will lose miserably. Ali didn't give Su Yang any face at all. Really? How about we make a bet? I bet I can win, Su Yang said with mysterious confidence. Okay, I bet you'll lose to me. Ali smiled playfully, saying, if it's a bet, there must be a stake. Let's put it this way. If you win, I'll agree to spend the night with you. If you lose, you must agree to spend the night with me. Ali's beautiful eyes curved into crescents. Okay, no, Ali, you're trying to trick me. Su Yang agreed instinctively, then smiled bitterly when he realized what he was doing. Ali laughed triumphantly. Haha, master, once you've spoken, you can't go back on your word. Su Yang touched the bridge of his nose helplessly, about to say something else. But then the 5 Duan brothers, clamoring, all fell to their knees. Young Master Su, no. Master, Duan Qingming looked at Su Yang and said respectfully, your skills are extraordinary. Not only did you clear the toxins from our bodies, you also greatly increased our strength. We cannot repay this kindness. We surrender. From now on, wherever your sword points, that will be the direction for the 5 of us brothers, Duan Qingming said solemnly. We are willing to serve you at your service, the other 4 said, their voices filled with awe. Then, Duan Qingsheng took a step forward. Previously, when Su Yang cleared the toxins, he also healed his injuries. Now, he was fully recovered and in peak condition. At this moment, Duan Qingsheng, the leader of the Little Sword sect, had a slightly complicated expression. He seemed afraid to look at Su Yang, and recalling what had happened earlier, he felt ashamed. After hesitating for a few seconds, Duan Qingsheng kowtowed 3 times, then, not daring to raise his head, said, Master, I was possessed by a demon and spoke rudely to you earlier. Please punish me. Forget it. Su Yang raised his hand and said, Get up. I told you, considering that you 5 brothers have collected the bodies of the Su family's ancestors, your matter will be put to rest and there is no need to mention it again. Thank you, Master, Duan Qingsheng said gratefully. All of you, get up. Su Yang looked around at the 5 Duan brothers and said calmly, Your strength has greatly increased now, and I just need you. Come with me to Wudang Mountain. Yes, the 5 Duan brothers responded in unison, standing up at the same time. Duan Qingming, you said before that you don't want fighting and want to live a peaceful life with your brothers. At this time, Su Yang asked, Now I ask you to go to Wudang Mountain with me, and fighting is inevitable. Why don't you refuse, my master? The reason why I wanted to protect myself before was because the 5 of us brothers were weak. I know our strength and we can't make any waves, Duan Qingming said seriously, but now it's different. The 5 of us brothers have greatly increased our strength, especially me. Now I dare to compete with those peak foundation building people of the Zai family who have existed for hundreds of years. In addition, we have changed our backers now. Master, you are the descendant of Senior Su Wuji, and you have powerful protectors. You have endless means of your own and you have a bright future in the future. If I have the opportunity to make a name for myself and let the world know the names of the 5 brothers of our Duan family, I naturally don't want to accept an ordinary life anymore, Duan Qingming said full of fighting spirit. Haha, good, Su Yang nodded, then urged, let's go to Wudang Mountain together. I wonder what's going on there, Master. I've sent someone to keep an eye on the situation in Wudang. Why don't we let him in so we can get a feel for the current situation? Duan Qingming suggested. Okay, Su Yang nodded, and then a disciple from the Young Sword sect, in his 20s, bent over and entered the hall. He knelt respectfully and recounted everything that had happened on Wudang Mountain today. It turned out that the 100 sex martial arts competition hadn't ended, and Su Yang hadn't been eliminated. Instead, he had advanced to the finals. Tomorrow morning, he would compete against Wudang's Wang Yi for first place. Here's what happened. This morning, during the drawing ceremony, Su Yang was in Beishan, helping the 5 Duan brothers break the curse of life and death, and hadn't returned to Wudang. However, he was included in the drawing, and Wang Fuge took Su Yang's place, drawing lots for the 5 of them. Wang Fuge was incredibly lucky. He drew a bye for Su Yang. The 4-way battle pitted Wudang's Wang Yi, Zimin Longyuan, Old Poison Lin Yun, and Lao Junshan's Junwu Iao. Junwu Iao drew Old Poison, while Wudang's Wang Yi drew Zimin Longyuan. The battle between Junwu Iao and Old Poison was thrilling, with both at the half-step foundation establishment stage. In the end, Junwu Iao edged out, defeating Old Poison. However, after the match, Junwu Iao, curious, pursued Old Poison, claiming he hadn't used his full strength. Old Poison didn't respond, holding the 100 Poison banner and leaving the scene. Seeing Old Poison's refusal, Junwu Iao gave up and relinquished his spot. He was a member of the 10 ancient clans, which couldn't interfere in the affairs of the ancient martial arts world. Junwu Iao had previously promised Zimin Fengyan that he would withdraw regardless of the outcome of the next fight, and he kept his word. As for the battle between Wudang's Wang Yi and Zimin Longyuan, Wang Yi emerged victorious. Wang Yi was too strong, his unique skills unfathomable. Even Zimin Longyuan, using the 9th form of the Hunun divine art and the Great Compassion Hand, couldn't defeat Wang Yi. However, he was also the first to force Wang Yi back, even causing blood to flow from the corner of his mouth. Old Poison and Zimin Longyuan were eliminated, and Junwu Iao voluntarily forfeited the competition. Therefore, tomorrow would not involve any buys. Instead, it would be a showdown between Wudang's Wang Yi and the descendant of the Su family. Whoever wins will take first place, rightfully becoming the leader of the Ancient Martial Arts Alliance and unifying the world of ancient martial arts. Chapter 574,000 Energy Stones. Su Yang was quite surprised to hear the news from the disciples of the small sword sect. He had never expected that he would actually make it to the finals. But this was even better. His goal was to win first place in the 100 sex martial arts competition. He had thought he had missed out, but now it seemed that the first place was still reserved for him. Wudang Wang Yi, Su Yang raised a smile and said lightly, "Okay, let me see your true strength. By the way, I will borrow your power to step into the foundation building realm." Thinking of this, Su Yang remembered the purpose of his trip, and looked at Duan Qingming and asked, "Are there energy stones and medicinal herbs containing spiritual energy in Beishan?" "Yes," Duan Qingming nodded and responded, "the reason why the Zai family, one of the 10 ancient clans, wants to occupy Beishan is because Beishan is rich in products. There are not only aged medicinal herbs, but also an energy stone mine." "Huh?" Su Yang was very surprised and asked, "Energy stone mine? Is it big?" "I asked someone to detect it. It's very large. There are energy stones in an entire mountain range," Duan Qingming continued. "However, the energy stones are mixed in with ordinary stones. In order to avoid damaging the energy stones, we can only mine them manually. We can mine about 5,000 energy stones every quarter." "What?" Upon hearing this news, Su Yang was ecstatic and excitedly said, "You have occupied Beishan for decades, so haven't you stored up a large amount of energy stones?" "Master, you think too much." Duan Qingming shook his head and said with a wry smile, "The 5 of us brothers are controlled by the ancient Zai family. The energy stones we have mined over the years have naturally been tribute to the Zai family. We can only keep a few pieces each quarter. We don't need the energy stones, so we don't care," Duan Qingming continued. "However, it is now the end of the quarter, and Beishan has more than 4,000 ready-made energy stones." "But, Master, I don't mind you taking these energy stones away," Su Yang asked doubtfully. "Why, Master, although you are gifted, you are alone after all. Even with us, you cannot compete with the Zai family." Duan Qingming had a long-term vision and suggested, "What I mean is that the 5 of us brothers can pretend to continue serving the Zai family. Until you are truly powerful, don't offend the 10 ancient clans, otherwise the consequences will be disastrous." "That's unnecessary." Hearing this, Su Yang smiled lightly and said, "I don't take those ancient clans seriously. Back then, my great-grandfather Su Wuji could suppress them so that they dared not enter the world. Now, I can still do it. Besides, the toxins and the curse of life and death in your bodies have been cleared and cracked by me. As long as the people of the Zai family see you and can't feel the existence of the toxins and the curse of life and death, they will naturally cause trouble for you." Su Yang said, "You don't have to act with the Zai family anymore, just show your cards. Don't worry, the first place in the 100 sex martial arts competition tomorrow will be none other than me. When I become the leader of the Ancient Martial Arts Alliance and take charge of the entire ancient martial arts world, I can command those hidden foundations in the ancient martial arts world. The 10 ancient clans are nothing," Su Yang said lightly. "Master, you don't know that in the eyes of the 10 ancient clans, the ancient martial arts world is nothing," Duan Qingming said with a wry smile. "Once upon a time, the major ancient clans would kneel and greet the 10 ancient clans upon seeing them. Their status was very low. Even if a young man from the ancient clans traveled to a renowned mountain like the Fengshan site, all the ancient martial arts practitioners on Mount Tai would kneel together, not daring to show any slight. The power of the ancient martial arts world simply cannot compare to that of the 10 ancient clans. Even if you became the leader of the ancient clans, I'm afraid." Duan Qingming didn't finish his words, but his meaning was clear. "I know, but that was in the past. I have a feeling that the transformation of the ancient martial arts world will change all this," Su Yang responded seriously, then said, "Where are the energy stones? Take me there." "Yes." Seeing Su Yang's confidence, Duan Qingming said nothing more and led Su Yang out of the hall. "Young Master Su, how did your talk go?" At this moment, Liu Jilu approached. "It's okay." Su Yang looked at Liu Jilu and smiled gently. "Master Liu, this Beishan belongs to your Liu family from now on. But don't forget our agreement. The energy stones and medicinal materials on the mountain all belong to me." Okay, thank you, Mr. Su." Liu Jiulu thanked him excitedly, and then said, "I will notify the ancestors and move the Liu family into Beishan overnight." "Wait a minute." Su Yang stopped Liu Jiulu and reminded him, "Master Liu, I advise you not to think about taking over Beishan in a short period of time. You'd better pretend that nothing happened and wait a while before moving in. Why? Liu Jilu asked curiously. Don't ask so many questions. If you don't want the Liu family to be destroyed, just do as I say, Su Yang said calmly. I'll let you know when you can take control of Beishan. Well, Liu Jilu hesitated for a few seconds, then finally nodded. Well, Master Su, you've arranged this. We'll follow your instructions. His gaze fell on Duan Qingming and the other four, and he asked in confusion, Master Su, they've surrendered to me now. Su Yang chuckled. I see. Liu Jilu was taken aback, then said, Congratulations, Master Su, on gaining the aid of 5 land-based martial gods. Haha, Master Liu, you're too polite. Su Yang smiled and said, Master Liu, I'm going with them to retrieve energy stones and medicinal herbs. Please wait here for a moment. We'll return to Wudang together in a moment. Master Su, can I go with you? Liu Jilu requested. Of course, Su Yang agreed, and the group left the hall. As for the disciples of the small sword sect guarding the main hall, Duan Qingsheng dismissed them, each going about their own business. Not long after, Su Yang and his group arrived at the back mountain, where a vast cave system lay. Entering the cave, led by the 5 Duan brothers, they soon came upon a neatly arranged pile of energy stones, estimated to be at least 4,000. Master, these are the energy stones mined this quarter. By the end of this month, we should have collected 5,000, explained Duan Qingsheng, the head of the small sword sect. We've only mined a third of the energy stones in this mountain range over the years, leaving a vast amount. Haha, very good. From now on, these are all mine. Order them to keep mining. Su Yang smiled, and with a wave of his hand, he gathered all the energy stones in the cave into a stored ring. Yes, Duan Qingsheng agreed, then led Su Yang to the other side and said, Master, these wooden boxes are all filled with medicinal herbs grown in Beishan, and they all contain spiritual energy. Su Yang moved his eyes and looked over, and found that there were more than a dozen shelves here, on which were placed exquisite wooden boxes, which emitted faint fluctuations of spiritual energy. Chapter 571, Ancestor of the Zai Family. Energy stones aren't used by ancient warriors, so the 5 of us brothers didn't hoard them. However, medicinal herbs are different. They're extremely beneficial to ancient warriors, so we each kept some. Duan Qingsheng continued, what's displayed here is freshly harvested this quarter. There aren't many, and all the herbs for the 5 of us brothers are with my eldest brother. Duan Qingming, standing nearby, heard this and said, Master, I have a Sumeru storage ring, and the herbs are all in it. Duan Qingming was about to remove the Sumeru storage ring, intending to give it to Su Yang. No need. Su Yang shook his head and said, you can take them first. I have enough herbs here. After refusing, Su Yang simply stored the herbs on the shelf in his stored ring. Naturally, the more herbs imbued with spiritual energy, the better. However, the 5 Duan brothers had just surrendered to him, and Su Yang didn't want them to think he was greedy. Besides, the spirit stones and herbs in Su Yang's storage ring were more than enough to support his foundation building efforts. However, unexpected events are inevitable during foundation building, so Su Yang had been collecting extra energy stones to prepare for any unexpected needs. However, having collected over 4,000 energy stones from Beishan this quarter, combined with the medicinal herbs on the shelves, he had more than enough. As for future cultivation needs, once he'd established his foundation, fighting against opponents of higher levels would be a breeze, practically unbeatable in the entire foundation building community. Without a core formation, who could challenge him? Adding Ali to the mix, the 2 of them could go anywhere, and they could have as many energy stones as they wanted. After all, my great-grandfather Su Wuji left behind many valuable treasures on Kunlun Mountain. Furthermore, the Zai clan, one of the 10 ancient clans, had occupied Beishan for so many years, and their stockpile of energy stones must be a staggering number. Therefore, Su Yang naturally looked down on the few medicinal herbs in Duan Qingming's ring. While Su Yang was dismissive, Liu Jilu, standing beside him, had already seen tears welling up in his eyes, watching him with a fiery glance. Herbs? Energy stones? So many. Liu Jilu felt his heart racing. He hadn't expected Beishan to be such a treasure trove. It had become so prosperous. With the Liu family now in control of Beishan, relying on energy stones and medicinal herbs, they would surely rise rapidly and become a transcendent family. But Liu Jilu quickly realized that he had promised Su Yang that the spiritual herbs and energy stones in Beishan would belong to Su Yang, not the Liu family. The thought of this made Liu Julu's heart ache, his eyes filled with regret. Damn it! Why did he agree to Su Yang? This is a huge loss, a huge loss. Master Liu, what's wrong with you? Su Yang said calmly. Are you reluctant to part with the energy stones and medicinal herbs from Bashan? How could that be? Liu Julu let out a wry smile and quickly said, if it weren't for young Master Su, our Liu family wouldn't have been able to reclaim Bashan. The energy stones and medicinal herbs from Bashan are naturally young Master Su's reward. I'm glad you think so. Su Yang nodded. Then, checking the time, it was already past 3 in the morning. He said, let's leave now and return to Wudang. There's still time, Master Liu, let's go. Take the helicopter and take us out of Bashan. Okay, Liu Julu politely agreed. After learning that the 5 Duan brothers had surrendered to Su Yang, Liu Julu held Su Yang in even greater awe, and naturally obeyed his every word. Then, Su Yang, Ali, the 5 Duan brothers, and Liu Julu flew the helicopter, breaking through the clouds and heading straight for Wudang Mountain. Meanwhile, in Sichuan, amidst the 100,000 mountains, there stands a mountain, seemingly unassuming, but midway up, a plain stretches forth. Above it, towering buildings rise, clinging to the mountainside, their ancient charm imbued with the marks of time. Entering the complex, one sees a large plaque with gilded characters, West, indeed. This mountain is the domain of the Zai family, one of the 10 ancient clans. For thousands of years, the Zai family has lived here. At this moment, in a secret chamber within the Zai family, a stunningly beautiful woman sits cross-legged, engaged in secluded cultivation. She appears to be in her 20s, clad in a deep blue, wide-sleeved, flowing dress, her hair tied in a bun. Her skin is imperceptibly smooth, and her beauty is breathtakingly beautiful. At this moment, 9 golden dragons swirl around her, their fangs bared, claws waving and absorbing the surrounding spiritual energy. Notably, the chamber she inhabits contains at least tens of thousands of energy stones. The spiritual energy within the energy stones poured continuously from 9 directions into the mouths of the 9 golden dragons, then was absorbed by the woman. Ancestor suddenly appeared from outside the secret room, leaning on a cane and speaking respectfully. His face was covered in wrinkles, his skin wrinkled, and his arms withered. It was unknown how many years he had lived. Yet, the old man cautiously addressed the secret room, his eyes filled with awe, as if fearing the woman inside would anger him. Ta-da! The next moment, the woman in the dark blue wide-sleeved fairy dress opened her eyes, her face showing displeasure, and she said in a cold tone, "What are you disturbing me?" Reporting to the ancestor, the old man with a cane hurriedly said, "Some changes have occurred in Bashan. Someone has brought news that the 5 brothers of the Duan family have rebelled and betrayed our Zai family." Huh? The woman frowned and said, "Didn't I ask you to restrain those 5 people with the bone-eroding poison and the life and death curse? How dare they betray?" Ancestor, I have sensed that the life and death curse in the bodies of the 5 brothers of the Duan family has been broken, and I believe the bone-eroding poison has also been removed, the old man responded cautiously. Now the 5 brothers of the Duan family have boarded a helicopter and are flying to Wudang Mountain with his new master. What? The woman's face was as gloomy as water and said, "Who is so bold as to dare to dismantle the backing of our Zai family? Is it the Dongfang family, the Nangong family, or the Duanmu family?" "None of them." The old man shook his head and said, "It's the descendant of the Su family, Su Yang." Su Yang. Hearing this, the woman's expression paused, and her eyes softened instantly. She seemed to be lost in memories of the past, and there was even a sweet smile on the corner of her mouth. "Ancestor," said the old man outside the secret room. "This Su Yang has participated in the Wudang Mountain 100 sex martial arts competition in recent days, and has made it all the way to the finals, becoming famous. It is said that he has a powerful protector by his side, who seems to be at the peak of the Foundation establishment realm." At this point, the old man said disdainfully, "Although this realm is very strong, it is nothing to our ancient clan. There are spirit stone mines and abundant medicinal herbs in Bashan, which provide us with a large amount of resources every year. Now he has disrupted it." The old man's eyes were full of murderous intent, and he said, "Tomorrow is the finals of the 100 sex martial arts competition. Su Yang is going to Wudang Mountain to participate in the competition, and after the 100 sex martial arts competition, according to the agreement, our ancient clan can enter the world openly. Ancestor, how about I take people there and wipe out Su Yang?" "You dare?" Unexpectedly, the woman in the secret room suddenly said in a cold voice, If you hurt Xuyang even a hair, I will cut you into pieces and let you suffer all the torture in the world. Chapter 572 Ancestors Yiao. Upon hearing the ancestor's words, the old man outside the secret room froze in shock. His reaction was paling with fear, and he fell to his knees with a thud. He was no fool, he could naturally discern that the ancestor and the Su family's descendants knew each other, perhaps even had some connection. The ancestor had sealed his memories and traveled for 20 years, inevitably bringing him to know certain people and events. While he didn't know what transpired between the ancestor and the Su family's descendants, he was certain they held great importance to the ancestor. Otherwise, the ancestor wouldn't have been so enraged upon hearing that he was going to Wudang Mountain to kill Xuyang. The ancestor, however, was the younger sister of the Zai family's founder, and had lived through countless years. Time is a murderous sword, and no one can escape its ravages. But this statement, applied to the ancestor, felt utterly inappropriate. The ancestor's exact age remained a mystery. The old man outside the secret room was named Zai Loi, now 490 years old. Besides the ancestor, he was the oldest and most respected member of the Zai family. Aside from the ancestor, Zai Loi reigned supreme over the Zai family, second only to the current ancestor, and above everyone else. Half the Zai family consisted of his descendants. Zai Loi knew the ancestor's origins and stories better than anyone else. Countless years ago, the Zai family was founded by a brother and sister. Originally, there were two ancestors, the current ancestor and his older brother. The ancestor was obsessed with cultivation, neglecting sleep and food, never leaving the house, let alone marriage. After the Zai family was founded, his brother branched out, prospering the family and ultimately becoming one of the 10 ancient clans in that chaotic era. While the current Zai family lacked a direct blood relationship with the ancestor, she would protect it with her life. This was the oath the ancestor had made to her brother. She would ensure his descendants would prosper forever. Over the years, the ancestor had seen off her brother, her nephews, her nieces, her nephews' grandchildren, and generation after generation. But the ancestor's appearance remained unchanged, retaining its original beauty, captivating beauty and a beauteous beauty. Yet, within the entire Zai family, and even within the 10 ancient clans, no one dared to even consider the ancestor, let alone even glance at her. This was because the ancestor's strength had reached the pinnacle, surpassing the peak. Once, 6 peak-level foundation establishment cultivators from the 10 ancient clans, relying on their sheer numbers, insulted the ancestor. The ancestor, however, simply unleashed 9 golden dragons, instantly annihilating the 6. Instantaneously. From then on, everyone who saw the Zai family ancestor avoided them. Even the most powerful of the ancient clans were obliged to show respect in her presence. Some even speculated that the ancestor had broken the laws of heaven and earth and entered the Jindan realm. Otherwise, she couldn't have lived so long, let alone been so powerful, capable of annihilating 6 peak-level foundation establishment cultivators with a single wave of her hand. Of course, these were mere speculations, unconfirmed, as no one could force the Zai family ancestor to exert his full strength. Thus, the ancestor lived for countless years, rarely leaving the Zai family, devoting all her time to cultivation. But one day, roughly 20 years ago, for unknown reasons, the ancestor suddenly emerged from her seclusion and stood atop a mountain, startling everyone in the Zai family. Zai Loi hurriedly led the Zai family to inquire about the matter and the ancestor's reason for leaving. But the ancestor didn't respond, muttering to herself, "It's almost done, it's almost done." Then, the ancestor summoned Zai Loi to her secret chamber and instructed her to protect the Zai family while she was away for a while. During this time, the ancestor sealed her power and her memories. The Zai family ancestor never revealed her true face or wore a veil. Her immense power and occult techniques made her virtually undetectable. After sealing her power and memories, the ancestor transformed into a naive young girl. Most bizarrely, the ancestor's immense spiritual energy transformed into true ki. She had unexpectedly transformed into a warrior of the ancient times, albeit a weaker one. But Zai Loi could sense that the aura that dominated the world still lingered within the ancestor, a seal that would break free should the ancestor encounter danger. The ancestor had intended to travel for training, but after sealing her memories, she forgot all about it and remained at the Zai family home all day. Because no one besides Zai Loi knew she was the ancestor, some began addressing her as Big Sister, The Zai family included not only cultivators but also warriors of the ancient times, forming an ancient clan sect at the age of 28. The ancestor had reached the pinnacle of the Xianzhuang sect, making her worthy of the title of Big Sister. However, Zai kept in mind that the ancestor was leaving for training. Coincidentally, at that time, the Emperor, Long Xingtian, had achieved great success in his cultivation and wished to return to inherit the throne. This Long Xingtian was Zailui's disciple. Over 100 years ago, Zai accepted a generous gift from the old emperor, intending to stop the war god of country Duanmu Liu, from conquering the world. However, Duanmu Liu was defeated by Su Wuji and abandoned his quest for dominance. Zai felt he couldn't take the old emperor's favor for nothing, so decades later, he accepted Long Xingtian as his apprentice. Just as Long Xingtian was about to return to the kingdom to inherit the throne, Zai asked the ancestor to accompany him on his journey from the Zai family. Initially, Zai worried about the ancestor and sent people to secretly protect him, but they were discovered by the ancestor. Having sealed her memories, she subconsciously considered those who had been attacked as enemies and eliminated them all. Zai was amused and confused, but then, remembering the terrifying spiritual energy within the ancestor, ready to protect her at all times, he stopped sending people to protect her. 20 years had passed since then, and he had no news of the ancestor. Until recently, the ancestor suddenly returned, and Zai was overjoyed. With the 100-sex martial arts competition approaching, and the outcome of the ancient martial arts reform uncertain, Zai felt a sense of peace, a heavy weight lifted from his heart. After all that was said and done, there was no doubt that the Zai family ancestor was instructor Xiao, Su Yang's sister, Xiao. Naturally, she would not allow anyone to touch Su Yang in the slightest. Ancestor, please calm down. At this time, Zai knelt outside the secret room and said in fear and trepidation, I didn't know you knew the descendants of the Su family, otherwise I would never have said what I said just now. Yes, I'll forgive you this time, and it won't happen again. Inside the secret room, Xiao asked indifferently, you said before that Su Yang went to Wudang and participated in the 100-sex martial arts competition. Yes, Zai responded respectfully, young master Su Yang has secured a place in the finals and will compete with Wang Yi of Wudang Mountain tomorrow. Ancestor, after the 100-sex martial arts competition, the ancient martial arts world will change. As far as I know, all the major ancient martial artists have already been dispatched. No matter what the result tomorrow is, young Master Su will not have a good ending. 2 days ago, he publicly wiped out Zeman Huxiao, the second son of the Kunlun Zeman family. In addition, the head of the Zeman family occupied the Su family's Kunlun Mountain, and he wanted to get rid of the Su family as soon as possible. If young Master Su wins tomorrow and becomes the leader of the Ancient Martial Arts Alliance, the Kunlun clan wouldn't dare to do anything to him. But if he loses, I'm afraid Patriarch Zeman will kill him on the spot. The sects that participated in the siege of Kunlun won't allow him to continue to grow. Zai continued, also, if young Master Su wins and dominates the ancient martial arts world according to destiny, the major ancient clans will first kill the leader of the Ancient Martial Arts Alliance to disrupt their reforms. Chapter 573 Who said I don't dare to come? So, Master Su is in a very bad situation. Whether he wins or loses tomorrow, he'll be the target of public criticism, Zai said. Haha, really, Su Yang is my man. Who in this world has the right to touch my people? You don't want to live, do you? Upon hearing this, Zai Yao ordered, Zai, lead all the masters of the Zai family and march out to Wudang Mountain. If anything happens to Su Yang, I will bury the entire world with him. From the ancient clans to the ancient martial arts world, no one who takes action will survive. Yes, Zai sensed the ancestor's anger and hastily agreed. Then he stood up and left, ready to follow the ancestor's instructions and stand up for Su Yang. Little guy, you still owe me a cup of milk tea, and you haven't bought me any makeup yet. Don't think you'll die so easily. Wait, I'll be back to my peak soon. Then, with one step, no one in heaven or on earth can hurt you. Even if those old monsters of the ancient clan come out, I can keep you safe. In the secret room, Ancestor Xiao muttered to herself, her voice filled with contempt. Then, she closed her eyes slightly, and 9 golden dragons frantically absorbed the surrounding spiritual energy, pouring it into her body continuously. Time passed quickly. Before they knew it, it was the second day. Wudang Mountain, the scene of the 100-sex martial arts competition. Today, All the ancient warriors in Wudang Mountain gathered here to watch the crucial competition. I'm so excited. The leader of the Ancient Martial Arts Alliance is going to be born today. I wonder who will be the first, the descendant of the Su family or Wudang Wang Yi. It must be Taoist Wang Yi. Did you see the competition yesterday? Zeman Longyuan is so strong, and he used all his means. He used the Great Compassionate Hand and the ninth style of Hunan Divine Art at the same time, but he still couldn't do anything to Taoist Wang Yi. You can't say that. Su Yang is not weak either. It seems that he hasn't fought seriously yet. As a descendant of Su Wuji, his strength is unquestionable. Haha, don't mention Su Yang, okay? He is only at the 9th level of key training. His brother Wang Fuge was also at the 9th level of key training before, but he was easily defeated by Taoist Wang Yi. How could he be Taoist Wang Yi's opponent? That's right. Su Yang didn't show up yesterday. I guess he was scared, so he ran away early. Ha, ran away early. Damn, it's not impossible. Taoist Wang Yi is proficient in the art of Kimen. He is the chosen one, and his strength is unfathomable. I am convinced that he should be the leader of the Ancient Martial Arts Alliance. After the 100 sex martial competition, the ancient clan's transformation should begin today. I'm so excited. I wonder what direction our ancient martial arts system will take. For a moment, everyone at the scene was buzzing with discussion, eager to know the outcome of the competition, yet also filled with anticipation for the ancient clan's transformation. Among the crowd, many talented figures, including the old poison Lin Yuan, Zeman Longyuan, Buddhist Wuji, Mo Dao Gongzi, Shima Shei, Jun Wuiao, Zhao Zihiro, Du Fiang, and others, were all present. Wang Fuge, Zhang Magu, and Shi Qiushan also stood nearby. Atop the high pedestal were Qian Shangsu of Jilfang Mountain, Wang Chongyan of the Xianji sect, Shi Haohen of the Fengshan land, Su Yufeng, the lay Buddhist of Fuchin Mountain, Nun Sishan of Amai Mountain, Zeman Fengyan of the Zeman family, Abbot Yuan Tuang of Bodhi Mountain, Zhang Xianli of Fengyang City, and Du Kun of the Du family of Shansheng. The heritage of many sects and famous mountains was present. Notably, Lan Miaoi of Chungguang Tower was also present today, her beautiful eyes scanning the surroundings, anticipating Su Yang's appearance. Mr. Su, if you don't show up today, don't blame me for forcibly breaking the seal and releasing the death energy in the evil spirit stone, Lan Miaoi said secretly, with a very complicated expression. In fact, she didn't want to bring disaster to the people, but in order to get a new life, she had to do this. Because only in this way can she gain supreme strength through those death energies, so that she doesn't need to look at anyone's face and become a super master that everyone fears. The competition time is almost up, and Wang Yi has already stepped onto the ring. At this moment, everyone is waiting for Su Yang to appear. Brother Fuge, do you know where cousin Su Yang went? At this time, Shi Jiushan couldn't help asking. I know, Wang Fuge whispered. My wife told me that young Master Su went to Beishan the afternoon before yesterday. Beishan? Shi Jiushan asked puzzledly. What did he go to Beishan for? Well, to do some small things, Wang Fuge continued. I just received a call from my father-in-law. They should be back soon. That's good. Don't be late for the competition. Shi Jiushan breathed a sigh of relief, then smiled with relief. I didn't expect that my cousin could make it to the last step. It's funny when I think of my solemn promise before that I would win the first place and help my cousin and his family reunite. Shi Jiushan sighed, feeling a little lost. Cousin, you're very strong. It's not your fault. It's mainly because your opponent is too strong. Wang Fuge comforted him. Young Master Su is just lucky. Damn, he drew 2 buys, and his opponents weren't very strong either. It was just a fluke. If it were me, I could do it too, but then again, I drew the lot for him in the last round. Wang Fuge whispered. No, after the game, I have to ask him to invite me to the club. I want. At this point, Wang Fuge looked around cautiously, didn't see Liu Chushan, and then continued, I want to go to the club and fight 10 people alone. Haha. Seeing Wang Fuge's funny look, Shi Jiushan couldn't help but laugh out loud. He had already let go of his failure, but he would feel a little sad when he thought about it occasionally. It's almost time. At that moment, the referee standing on the stage announced loudly, if Su Yang doesn't show up within 1 minute, according to the rules of the competition, he will be deemed to have voluntarily forfeited. My junior brother Wang Yi will become the leader of the Ancient Martial Arts Alliance. As soon as these words were spoken, some in the audience looked around, hoping for Su Yang's appearance, while others gloated, concluding that he was scared and didn't dare to take the stage. And so, time slipped away, and the minute was almost up. Haha, I knew it. Su Yang is a coward. He's already run away. He's sensible enough not to come on stage and embarrass himself. With Taoist Wang Yi's strength, what difference does it make whether Su Yang comes or not? Leader Wang Yi, Leader Wang Yi, Leader Wang Yi. Some in the audience began to call Wang Yi the leader, and for a moment, the whole place erupted in cheers. Many other geniuses, such as Zeman Longying and Fozi Wuji, shook their heads. They had expected today to be a spectacular and unprecedented battle, but they never expected it to end before it even began. The time has come, and Su Yang hasn't shown up. Wudan Wang Yi, naturally, becomes. Seeing this, the referee was about to announce the result in public. Wait a moment. Just then, Su Yang, Ali, and the 5 Duan brothers approached from a distance. Among them, Su Yang, unhurried, revealed a faint smile and said, "Who said I don't dare to come?" If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 574 Brother, you are not kind. Swish, swish, swish. In an instant, everyone's eyes fell on Su Yang. He's here. The descendant of the Su family is here, haha, so what? He doesn't really think he can defeat Taoist Wang Yi, does he? He's being forced into this fight. He's probably afraid of losing face, so he's just walking up here, haha, this Su Yang is crazy. If he's afraid of losing face, he might as well not come. What if Taoist Wang Yi knocks him down with a few moves? Would that be even more embarrassing? Su Yang had naturally heard everyone's comments, but his lips curled slightly as he simply ignored them. Then, in full view of the crowd, he methodically walked onto the ring and stood opposite Wang Yi. As for Ali and the 5 Duan brothers, they remained in the audience, standing with Wang Fuge and the others. Ali, sister-in-law, you're finally here. Who are these 5 old men and what do they do? Wang Fuge asked, looking around at the 5 Duan brothers in confusion. They're from Beishan. They've occupied it for years, Ali replied. Fuck, Wang Fuge gritted his teeth upon hearing this, so it's you 5 old guys. You're so brave. You even dare to, my father-in-law, brother Fuge, don't be impulsive. They are not to be trifled with. Zhang Magu, standing nearby, quickly grabbed Wang Fuge. What's so difficult about them? They're just 5 old guys who can barely walk. I can knock all 5 of them down with one punch, Wang Fuge boasted. They're all land martial gods. At this moment, Shi Jiushan, standing nearby, spoke with a solemn expression, and they were not new land martial gods. The impression they give me is almost the same as my grandfather's, and my grandfather is at the peak of the martial god realm. I'm sure they're at the same level, Shi Jiushan spoke, looking at the 5 Duan brothers. The peak of the land martial god. Hearing this, Wang Fuge was startled and hurriedly took a half step back, laughing awkwardly. Ahem, well, gentlemen, I was just joking, don't mind me. Then, taking small steps, Wang Fuge hid behind Ali, finally breathing a sigh of relief. Don't be afraid, Ali smiled softly, they've already followed Su Yang. They're one of us, damn, why didn't you tell me earlier? I was scared to death. Wang Fuge instantly straightened up, walked over, hooked his arm around Duan King Sheng's shoulder, and said arrogantly, little old man, do you know who I am? Who are you? Duan King Sheng asked cautiously. Although he had reached the peak of the martial god, his strength could crush Wang Fuge. However, the 5 Duan brothers were living under someone else's roof, and as newcomers, they naturally didn't dare to offend those around Su Yang. My name is Wang Fuge, and I'm Su Yang's best friend. We've been wearing the same pants since we were little, hanging out at the same clubs. We have an ironclad bond, Wang Fuge said arrogantly. Since you follow my brother and are his subordinates, you naturally have to obey my orders. You do whatever I tell you to do. Do you understand? Understood, Brother Wang. Duan King Sheng lowered his status, addressing Wang Fuge as a brother. What do you mean by Brother Wang? Call me Young Master Wang, Young Master Hua, Wang Fuge said sternly. Yes, Young Master Wang, Duan King Sheng said quickly, not wanting to be dismissive. You 4, call me Young Master Wang too, Wang Fuge said calmly, perfectly portraying the bully's power. Young Master Wang. Duan Qingming and the others also greeted Wang Fuge as a gesture of friendship. Well, that's about right, Wang Fuge smiled gently and said, don't worry, I won't let you yell for nothing. If you give me face and listen to me, I will definitely make you comfortable, Wang Fuge promised. I've been in the city for many years. I've been to all kinds of clubs. I have plenty of resources. After the 100 sex martial arts competition is over, I will take you to the city and invite you to have fun in the club. You are old and your teeth are almost falling out. The most important thing is to enjoy life while you can, so as not to have regrets, Wang Fuge said generously. I will cover all expenses when the time comes. Club. Duan Qingsheng's expression was a little embarrassed, and he refused. Young Master Wang, forget it. The 5 of us brothers are not interested in that kind of thing. Not bad. The eldest brother Duan Qingming stroked his beard and smiled, saying, we appreciate young Master Wang's kindness, but we are old and I'm afraid we can't stand the hardship. You can't say that. Wang Fuge looked at Duan Qingming and continued, as the saying goes, beautiful women can prolong one's life. Looking at beautiful women is good for one's physical and mental health. High-end clubs are full of beautiful women. Old man, I'll find you 2 young girls in their teens and 20s. They're beautiful in every way. I guarantee you'll live your life again, Wang Fuge attempted. Young Master Wang, please stop trying to persuade me, Duan Qingsheng said seriously. This is my eldest brother. I know him very well. He would never agree to it. Thank you, young Master Wang, for inviting me. The club. Shut up. Unexpectedly, Duan Qingming suddenly spoke up, stopping Duan Qingsheng and saying sternly, third brother, young Master Wang means well. How can we refuse? You are so ignorant of the ways of the world. Duan Qingsheng was stunned. The 3 old men of the Duan family beside him were also stunned, looking at their eldest brother in surprise. Young Master Wang, I'm sorry for not being strict enough. I'm sorry to have embarrassed you. Since you insisted, the 5 of us brothers have no choice but to accept. Refusing would be tactless. Duan Qingming stroked his beard, then leaned closer to Wang Fuge and whispered, young Master Wang, is everything really big? Well, why would I lie? Wang Fuge smiled and whispered, not only is it big, you can touch it anywhere. Really, really, okay. Duan Qingming's eyes lit up at the reassurance, his breathing quickened, and he couldn't help but grin, revealing a mouthful of teeth. No, not a single tooth, because he had none at all. The 4 old men of the Duan family were stunned, staring at each other in disbelief. Could this really be their eldest brother? Brother, has coming to Wudan caused you to be uncomfortable with the climate? Has your personality changed? Why have you become like this? You used to be so averse to women, Duan Qingsheng whispered. What do you know? That was in the past, Duan Qingming responded. Back then, we were controlled by the Zai family. There was no tomorrow after today, so how could we have time to think about matters between men and women? But now it's different. The toxins and the life-death curses in our bodies have disappeared. All 5 of us brothers have reached the pinnacle of martial arts. And we even follow a good master. Naturally, we need to relax, Duan Qingming said matter-of-factly. But, combined, the 5 of us are almost 1,000 years old. Can we still do that? Duan Qingsheng smiled wryly. I don't know if you can, but I know I can definitely do it. Duan Qingming held his head high and said seriously, over the years, I've taken great care of my waist. Not only can I do it, I might even give you a nephew. Brother, you're being disrespectful, secretly training without asking us. Duan Qingsheng gritted his teeth. The other 3 also complained about Duan Qingming. Tisk. Duan Qingming ignored them and walked over to have a quiet conversation with Wang Fuge, seemingly asking him about any precautions he should take when going to the club and whether the technicians would be bothered by his age. It's just like the saying goes, a man remains a young man until he dies. Chapter 575 Entering My Keeman. At this moment, on the high seat, Zeman Fangyan, Shi Haohong, Wang Zhongyan, Abbot Yuantong, and many other influential figures also sensed the strength of the 5 brothers of the Duan family. Peak. They are all at the peak of land martial god. Wang Chongyan was shocked and guessed, they were brought by Su Yang. Could they be the helpers Su Yang asked for? I've seen these 5 people. At this time, the charity nun of Mount Amity said, they are from Beishan. Many years ago, it was them who drove out the Liu family and occupied the Magpie's Nest. At that time, they did not pass the Mingshan challenge and robbed and plundered. They should have been punished, but in the end it was left unresolved. The charity nun's gaze fell on Shi Haohan, and then said, Master Shishin, you should know the details of this matter. Yeah, Shi Haohan nodded and said, I was there at the scene. These 5 people were all land martial gods, but even if they were added together, they were not my opponents. However, they have a great background, and there seems to be the shadow of the ancient clan behind them, so I did not act rashly, so as not to anger the ancient clan, but I remember that among the 5 of them, there was no peak martial god. How come they have all reached the peak realm now? Shi Haohan frowned slightly. Not only that, Zeman Fengyun, who was standing next to him, stared at Duan Qingming and said with fear, one of them has an extremely powerful aura. Even among the peak martial gods, he is considered a strong man. He and I can be evenly matched. I have 6, he has 4, Zeman Fengyun added with a smile, but it doesn't matter. We can still deal with these 5 people if we join forces. Zeman Fengyun, are you kidding? Who wants to join forces with you to deal with them? Zhang Xianli from Fengyang City sneered, they are obviously Mr. Su's men. They have no grudges against us. Zeman Fengyun, if you want to fight, do it yourself, don't bring us with you. Are you deaf? Didn't you hear Shi Haohan say that there was the shadow of the ancient clan behind the 5 of them? Zeman Fengyun continued, in my opinion, maybe Su Yang has already surrendered to the ancient clan. After all, Su Yang is a cultivator, not an ancient warrior. He certainly doesn't want to see changes in the ancient martial arts world, Zeman Fengyun said coldly. I've said this long ago, cultivators can't participate in the 100-sex martial arts competition, but you just wouldn't listen. Now, what if Su Yang wins? Are you really going to make a cultivator the leader of the ancient martial arts alliance? Brother Fengyun, let's not talk about this anymore. Whether it's a cultivator or an ancient martial artist, whoever takes first place will be in accordance with destiny, Wang Chongyun said. Besides, my disciple Wang Yi will never lose. Really? Then I'll wait and see, Zeman Fengyun said indifferently. Then, everyone on the high seats turned their attention to the arena. I wonder where this guy got 5 such powerful masters from. Jin Shanksa smiled and breathed a sigh of relief. My grandfather encountered something on the way and was delayed. With them around, Su Yang is a little safer. Su Yang, I hope you can win. I believe in you. You can do it. Jin Shanksa secretly cheered Su Yang on, her beautiful eyes fixed on him. At the same time, on the ring, Su Yang and Wang Yi stood face to face, 4 or 5 meters apart. Su Yang, you shouldn't have come, Wang Yi yawned and said lazily, but it's a good thing you came. You provoked me before, and today I'll show you how powerful I am. Go ahead. I'll give you 10 moves, so others won't think I'm bullying you, Wang Yi said confidently. Su Yang looked at Wang Yi and chuckled softly. Master Wang Yi, are you too arrogant? Do you really think you can win? If it were Zhen Wu Iao or Old Poison, I'd be a little wary. Wang Yi hunched over, like a natural hunchback, completely exhausted. But if I'm against you, I won't lose. Really? Then, come on. Without hesitation, Su Yang unleashed his a-world-away technique, flashing behind Wang Yi and unleashing the 100 reincarnation fist. Whoosh! Wang Yi was an invincible genius, naturally no ordinary character. With a light tap of his foot, he vanished from the spot. Su Yang's punch missed. I know you possess a mysterious form, but unfortunately, it's of little use to me. The moment you step onto the ring, you've entered my unique realm. Every move is within my reach. Wang Yi appeared 8 meters away, gazing at Su Yang from afar. He then tapped the ground again. Buzz! A massive bagua pattern instantly appeared, covering the floor of the ring. As long as Su Yang was on the ring, he could not escape the bagua pattern, no matter where he stood. Su Yang, I gave you a chance. I offered you 10 moves. Since you refused, don't blame me for being ruthless. At this moment, Wang Yi stood there, completely relaxed, raising his hand and waving it casually. In an instant, 2 terrifying energies attacked Su Yang. One of these energies was fiery red, radiating a scorching heat, like a falling sun. The other energy beam was the color of clear water, extremely cold and gloomy, so chilling that the air seemed to freeze wherever it passed. What a powerful technique, at least comparable to a late-stage divine sect. Su Yang didn't dare to delay. With a thought, he drew his sky sword and simultaneously began a blood sacrifice, slashing out with all his might. Wow! Wow! The next moment, Wang Yi's 2 energy beams were shattered by Su Yang. Although Su Yang wasn't injured, he was breathing heavily, clearly struggling. Wang Yi, on the other hand, seemed to have simply performed a simple movement, effortless and effortless. Not bad, you actually took my attack, I'm not too disappointed. Wang Yi nodded in satisfaction, saying, but that was only the power I used against Wang Fuge. Now, I'm going to bring out the strength I used against Zimin Longan. Su Yang, let's see how far you can hold out. Wang Yi smiled softly and then released 2 more energy beams, even more powerful than the last. Do you think I'll give you another chance? Seeing this, Su Yang's lips curled into a playful smile, and his figure suddenly vanished from the spot. With his current strength, he could only deal with those in the middle and late stages of the divine sect. Beyond that, he wouldn't be able to handle it unless he used the Void Tower, the key to the East Palace, or the Wudang 5 Elements chain array. But Su Yang didn't want to do that. He needed a hearty battle. He was constantly being attacked from a distance by Wang Yi, leaving him helpless. So, he seized the opportunity, activated the Sky Hidden Stone, and simultaneously cast the technique of a world away. In a flash, Su Yang's figure completely vanished, leaving no trace. This caused an uproar at the scene. A living person, in full view of the crowd, suddenly vanished, without a trace of his presence left. This was a bit weird. End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.